Well, well, well. It is Tuesday. The game from Sunday is behind us. It is time to get back to talking Cowboys and what we're going to do this season. By the way, did y'all know we can still win the NFC East? Yup. The Cowboys can still win the NFC East. Them doggone Chicago Bears. Them doggone Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears did the Dallas Cowboys a favor. Let's go. Let's get it. Welcome, 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 Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And yeah, we are live. And if you see that HYPE button, you gotta hit that hype button because we are hyped up today. Yeah! It is nothing like two teams in the NFC East losing in the same Sunday you lose. There is nothing like it. There is nothing like it that can lift up your spirits about being a Dallas Cowboy fan. We are still in it. I'm telling y'all, hey, Overreaction Monday is over. It is now time for facts. The Cowboys are in this thing. Let me tell you something. Boy, we got a great show today. So, Jerry Jones interview just came down on DallasCowboys.com. I want to listen to a little bit of the one he did from 105.3 because I want to kind of hone in on the Matt Eberflus thing. I want to hone in on that. But I haven't even seen the other video. It just came down. So we're going to check that video out and listen to some of the things that Jerry Jones has to say. Then, 105.3 The Fan brought us. He's going to break down some of the Carolina film. I want to hear what he has to say. Then they got another article over there I want to check out. And they said, how much is the offense to blame? This is an absolute joke, but I still want to hear it anyway. And then we are going to talk about this Chicago Bears Washington Commanders game. It don't even seem real. It didn't even seem real. But I'm gonna tell you this. Sometimes you just gotta say, you gotta be able to say sometimes that you made a mistake. Have y'all not realized what we're watching with the Chicago Bears is the Al Harris effect? This doggone Al Harris turned us over, beat us, turned the Washington Commanders over, beat them. We're watching Al Harris. We're watching Al Harris. The Al Harris effect. Cowboys should have kept Al Harris. We're going to talk about that Chicago Bears win, and we're going to talk about the NFC East and how it is shaking up. And I am telling you, the reason why I am so confident that the Cowboys can win the NFC East. Y'all remember all that crazy talk? Anybody remember all that crazy talk? Dak Prescott is not even the best quarterback in the NFC. Yeah, you're right. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. Let's go! We got the best offense in the NFL. And we don't even have all of our tires. They talking about CeeDee Lamb coming back. We getting ready to get Booker back. Getting ready to get BB back. Offense gonna be on all cylinders. Kevontae Turpin should be back soon. We have the best quarterback. We have the best offense. We have one of the best play callers. And I'm going to give Shotty his props. I ain't blaming this debacle on Brian Schottenheimer. I'm not blaming this defensive debacle on this man. This dude is telling us. He knows this defense is terrible. As I used to say in the hood, it's terrible. But it is what it is. He got to keep that offense rocking, and I believe that he will. We still in this thing. We still in this thing. That's going to be the show. Jerry interview, 105.3 The Fan, offensive blame, Bears gift, and the NFC East. Y'all ready to go? I'm ready to go. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get us a quick roll call. Let's get that breakdown first, boy. I love that breakdown. Let's get this quick roll call, and then we're going to get right into it with Jerry Jones, because I am ready to get into this discussion about the NFC East and the Cowboys winning it. Yep. Yeah. Cowboys. Hater. K3K. He said Eagles are going to repeat as Super Bowl champs. Hey, Cowboys hater, you know that ain't true. Hey, we going to talk about that Cowboys hater. Boy, y'all in disarray right now. We going to talk about it. Cowboys for life. What's going on? It's all-time bad, but the offense is all-time good. Big Rombowski. What's going on with you? He said it's flushed yet. Say that fast 5 times. He won't be flushed this year, so we might as well get ready, Big Rombowski. I want y'all to get ready. The Dallas Cowboys are going to have to score 40 points at least. They've already done it twice, I believe. The Cowboys are going to have to score 40 points about another 7 to 8 times this season. I guarantee you the Cowboys are going to set some kind of record for points. Football fanatic, he said, let's effing go. Derek Grimsley in the house. What's going on? He said Brad Schottenheimer's got to be honest, and I think he's trying to be as honest as he can without throwing Matt Eberflus under the bus and rolling over him backwards. John Henry in the crib. Rita Zanguini, what's going on with you? Stephen White, what's up? What's up? It is Ice Wall Cowboy. What is going on, Ice Wall? Dominique Pittman, what's going on with your salute? Yeah, he said anybody else putting G intro on repeat? Or is it me? Let's go. Yes, sir. He said you must, yeah, hey man. Back in the day, I wanted to be a rapper, but God had a different plan. Yes, sir. I got all kinds of music, man. I'm about to put some more on here pretty soon. What's going on? Mr. Rasinigan. He said we got to do what we got to do is fire Matt. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. Douglas Harrison in the crib. What's going on? The Bears got it done. Poobie D got my back. Poobie D! The Bears gave us a gift. Daniel Lee, my right-hand man. LaQueen, what's going on? Hope all is well with you, my sister. Lock and D, what's up? I like that avatar you got right there. Jerry said they're going to be playing more man now. Lock and D. I think they're about to start forcing Matt Eberflus's hand. Charles Washington, the NFC East is wide open. Big Mouse Dog said hit that like button. The regulator up in this thing. What's going on? Too Tall Jones, 72. Too Tall Jones, some of these people don't even know nothing about Too Tall Jones. Ty Howard, what's going on? Carl Williams in this thing. What's going on? Dolores Ennis, John Jones. What up, G Money? It's a New Jack City. Let's go. Bernard Field up in this thing. Mills 3679. What's going on, my brother? He said we actually didn't lose any ground last night with the Washington loss. So after all of that, Sunday really ain't count. We still in this thing. Yes, sir. Let's go. Randy's up in this thing. What is going on with you? Let's go. Byron Joe DeVee, appreciate that super chat. He said the problem is Jerry hiring old school coaches. I think the problem is he hired Brian Schottenheimer. I think that's the problem. LaQueen received a gift membership by Too Tall Jones. Appreciate you, Too Tall Jones. Yes, sir. Rest in peace, D'Angelo. All right. Xavier, he said, let's get it. C. Tracy, let's go. Poobie D said, man, G, if we don't fix this D, we won't be in it. Hey, Poobie D, at this point, we just gotta, let me put it to you like this. I don't think we can fix it, but we're gonna have to make it a little bit better. We can't be 32, Poobie D. Maybe we could just settle for 27. Maybe we can settle for 27. JCT Slice, he said we can win this NFC East as long as 4 is in the lineup, there is a chance. Yes, sir. Big Cloud back up in this thing. Nebraska Huskers, what's going on? Let's go. Lord Nova 85 up in this thing. Let's go. Yamar, what's going on? You won 100. What's going on? I see what you did there. You're 100. I got you. Hail Mary, my unofficial co-host, Rebel, Angie the Rebel Chicks. What's going on? Mike 45, Mike 405 OKC, Stephen White up in this thing, Xavier Rocco, what's going on? All right, let's get this thing started, y'all. Boy, I'm excited today. So glad that we're past that debacle on Sunday. We got all the Monday stuff out of our system. And now it's time to move on. What's going on, Dallas? Danny Dallas Cowboy fan, let's go! Richard Owens, what's up? Yeah, it's time for us to now move on and push on past the Carolina game. Let me tell you something. It's amazing how people talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Hail Mary in the house. What's going on? Y'all know what's crazy? Do y'all know the Atlanta Falcons beat the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Bills have lost 2 in a row? Let that sink in. That to me should be bigger news. That should be bigger news than what we have going on. But we're the Cowboys, so of course. Oh, see, Matt, he said the video earlier, he said there's a coach that may be capable, and that's Coach Sorensen from the 49ers, DC defensive coordinator last season. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned, though, because that's why he's here. But I really think the Cowboys should have let Brian Schottenheimer pick his own defensive coordinator. I really do. What's going on, Demetrius? Yeah, Matt needs to be removed, but it's not going to happen this season. It's too late. Poobie D, he said, look at how Chicago played Washington last night. Everybody was at the LOS mugging the line of scrimmage. And you know what, Poobie D? Al Harris. Punching the ball out. Al Harris. They did it to us, and they overdid it to the doggone Washington Commanders. Had no chance. Turnovers got them, and I love it. Poobie D said, gee, they pressured Allen all night, not letting Allen dictate nothing, kept him off balance. Yeah. Lock and D said, we've been a man-to-man defense for years, and we've been good. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. This defense never really quite recovered from not having, it never quite recovered from Dan Quinn leaving. But at some point, we're going to have to recover because everybody can't be Dan Quinn. Superstar status, what's going on? He said in my Bernie Mac voice, he said, I ain't afraid of them mother suckers, meaning the Redskins. He said in my Jimmy Johnson voice, we win the ball game on Sunday and all cows boogie. Yes, sir. Yeah. Chicago Vic, Daniel fumble cost them the game. Yeah. Hey, let me tell you, Chicago was putting major pressure, man. Major pressure. I love it. Yeah, the regulator, you're right. Eberflus is not it. And the issue is, though, the Cowboys, let me tell you something. Unless it is, I mean, it's got to be something, a cataclysmic loss. I mean, it has to be something like 70 to 30 or something for the Cowboys to fire Matt Eberflus. Because that would mean that the defense totally quit on him. He ain't going nowhere. And one of the reasons why he ain't going nowhere is because the Cowboys going to win on Sunday. And then that's going to tick everybody off. Everybody who want Eberflus gone. And this is kind of what I believe this is kind of what we're going to be looking at with Eberflus. I believe with Eberflus, it's going to be like this all year long. It's going to be, okay, sometimes he's going to have a great game, and then he's going to have a bad game. And we're going to be like, okay, he good, then we're going to be like, he ain't good. I think it's going to be that kind of season for one Eberflus. And anybody who hasn't watched the video, I got a little article today from Mike Fisher from FisherCowboys.com. And Mike Fisher was saying that don't believe the hype about this issue about them not firing Matt Eberflus. They're not going to fire Matt Eberflus during the season, but they're saying after the season, Matt Eberflus will probably be gone. It says right here, it says, but is Jones' faith in one of head coach Brian Schottenheimer's top lieutenants unshakable and permanent? Now, y'all remember this was happening last year. Jerry Jones was talking Mike McCarthy up, and it got around game 12, and I said, nah, they're letting him go. There's no way you have to brag on somebody that much, even when they're losing, unless you're trying to keep the confidence of the team up, knowing doggone well you're going to let him go. It says right here, a source close to the situation says that Matt Eberflus is on thin ice as it relates to his future in Dallas. I don't think it'll be an in season. I don't think it'll be anything in season, but I think he'll be gone after this season, just like Mike Nolan. I think he'll be gone. Yep, I think he'll be gone. Now, y'all know I've been telling y'all we gonna win in 2026. We're gonna win the Super Bowl, I believe, in 2026. The Cowboys are in some kind of evaluation mode. I don't know what's going on with the Cowboys. They're in some kind of evaluation mode for whatever the case may be. And the offense is on all cylinders right now. And so we're gonna see. I do think there is some truth to, I don't know necessarily what the result is going to be, but I do believe that Jerry and Steven believe that when Demarion Overshown returns, Savon Revel Jr., whenever he gets on the field, I think they believe that the season's going to turn around on defense. The thing that we got going for us versus last year is Dak Prescott and the offense is just a juggernaut. That's the huge difference. And so we're going to be able to win some games just on outscoring some teams. But at the same time, Jerry, there is going to have to be, like I said, fixing is a strong word, guys. Fixing is a strong word, man. I don't think I'm gonna use the word fix with this defense. I can't use the word fix with this defense, guys. I can't do it. I can't use the word fix. But when you're last in almost every category, surely you could make some improvements. And I do think the Cowboys,
the Hall of Fame owner and
will make some improvements in various places. Let's see. I think I want to move.
Were you extra disappointed in
a lot of times teams that 10 years, and the word wasn't a category of getting up around the rim because we haven't smelled actions and running games that we've had. Appeal is that
why is Eberflus still fans? And
I want to really focus in this interview. I want to focus again where Jerry is talking about Matt Eberflus. Because I'm telling you, man, Jerry to be, Matt, Brian Schottenheimer did it. Steven did it yesterday. And now we got Jerry doing it today. And I just wonder if some of this bothers some of the players on the defense, because I don't think they're sold on Matt Eberflus. And I think this is one of the biggest disconnects this team has. Because I remember doing training camp, everybody was talking about how great this defense was, how easy it was. Kyer Elam was the star of training camp. everything was going so good. And then I be doggone. Tell me what changed. Do y'all realize this same thing happened last year? We came out against the Cleveland Browns like gangbusters. We thought it was going to be more of 2023, only for us to start getting just pummeled defensively after that. What happened this year? It's the same thing. But I want us to hear kind of how Jerry is defending Matt Eberflus. And the problem with Jerry defending Matt Eberflus, he keeps telling us something that we're not seeing.
And that is the status of Matt Eberflus and his job. Why is Eberflus still the guy to get this defense going in the right direction? And what do you say to the fans who want him replaced?
He's been in that, he's had tremendous experience. He's dealt with adversity with a long record, not only with us, but with his tenure at Chicago and Indianapolis. And he's had some great successes, had some very great successes, but he's had his tail kicked. That's who I want in the foxhole with me, because there's no such thing as having all the answers. And so when I jumped at it, when I saw we had a chance to get him, I still feel as strongly as I did the day we brought him in here.
Yeah, see, this right here bothered me. This right here bothered me. And I think this is the problem. This has been a problem for a long time with this team. But I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer credit, because Brian Schottenheimer has done a great job of really making it a team and making it his team. I think he's done a great job with that, way better than most. And Brian Schottenheimer, guys, we just got to take it for what it is. Brian Schottenheimer knew what it was when he signed up. Brian Schottenheimer knew what it was when he signed up. And when he signed up, he basically said, I know what it is. I can handle it. And if he can handle it, then I'm good with it. I understand now. I clearly understand now more than I did before what we're working with. Matt Eberflus was a Jerry Jones hire. But I don't think Matt Eberflus is a Jerry Jones hire because Matt Eberflus was an ex-coach of the Bears. Because if that was the reasoning, then you never would have hired him. I think the reasoning is that he was an ex-Dallas Cowboy. I think that's the issue. He's an ex-Dallas Cowboy coach. You know, kind of with that Rod Marinelli. And I don't even understand. I still don't understand why people will be in love with this whole Rod Marinelli thing. I don't even understand it. I don't understand it. I mean, when you start talking about these kinds of people, man, I'm looking for Super Bowls. I'm not looking for this stuff. I'm not looking for what other people call success. I was wanting to look at his history. I want to look at his coaching history real quick, you know, because Jerry talks about his history and all of this stuff. And again, you know, that's a very subjective way of looking at things rather than objective. Because again, when you start telling me about experience, when you start telling me about success to me is NFC championships, playoffs, Super Bowls. I want to know kind of what your personnel was. You know, what's going on. When I start hearing this stuff and how they're really like trying to, you know, blow him up out of the spot, I get a little bit perturbed. Jerry hired him out of his own continuity. And I'm sure, you know, their paths have all crossed before. But Jerry did the same thing with Dan Quinn. And I think Jerry wanted to use the same formula. Jerry figured if he could bring in an ex-head coach to be the defensive coordinator, it would make the defense better. Let's think about what he did. Dan Quinn, ex-NFL coach, Super Bowl appearance. He turned around and got Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer, ex-coach, from the I think from the Jimmy days, right? Been with the Cowboys before. At any count, history with the Cowboys, has some success in the league. Then he brings in Matt Eberflus, ex-head coach of the Chicago Bears. He feels like that those guys could be good at defense. But Matt, I'm just being honest, Matt Eberflus is one of those coaches I wouldn't have touched with a 10-foot pole. There are things that I can deal with. I'm just saying me. I can deal with X's and O's issues. I can deal with those. Because maybe I'm going to get you the players that's going to make your defense look like new money. But the reason why I never would have hired Matt Eberflus, his demeanor and how he got fired in Chicago, I never would have brought him in. When the players say you stink, bro, I don't care what kind of success you've had, you can't coach for me. They despised him. They despised Matt Eberflus. I'm telling you, they despised him. And so if I'm Jerry and I don't bring him in, I just want you to hear the rest of what he says about Eberflus, and then we're going to look at the history of Matt Eberflus because he talks about the experience, he talks about the success. Brian Schottenheimer talked about the success. Well, we're going to look at it real quick.
And these things that we're dealing with here are not one, two major things. There are a lot of little things that you can address and get right, and you can adjust the nuances of them. And for instance, the other day, we couldn't stop the run, yet we were within a possession. If we drive that ball at the end of the game, we got a good chance to win it. We were up all day for the most.
See, this is the talk I don't like. I don't like the fact that they're blaming, they're literally trying to blame the offense. Yeah, if the offense would have scored on that last drive, had they got us up 34-27. Your defense wasn't stopping Carolina. Because if they would have stopped him, they would have stopped him. And they would have got the ball back. Tell me the difference in the urgency of if you score, your defense is going to hold them. And if you don't score and your defense can't hold them, stop it. I can't stand this. This is just crazy, disingenuous talk to me. They're just basically saying that the offense, if it don't score, every time it gets the ball, they already know what it means. The chances of winning decrease. I can't stand this conversation they keep having about this. Brian Schottenheimer did it. Stephen Jones talking about we had our chance. Now here he is talking about we had our chance. It's just all wash.
And so there's a lot of ways to win football games. And
how about winning with defense? How about winning with defense? And also, how about Brian Schottenheimer not get cute? Brian Schottenheimer has gotten cute on the road. If y'all will notice, gets a little cute down there. I don't know what's going on with Brian Schottenheimer. He gets a little cute sometimes, I don't know if he's trying to catch a team off guard by calling certain plays in the red zone or on the 1 yard line. Man, Brian, you said you got a power run game, bro. Run the ball in, bro. And on that last drive to Carolina, bro, what you throwing screens for? They have no answer for George Pickens. Stop it, bro. Throw the ball to George Pickens.
Flus is dealing with nuances there that we can adjust and change. And you do adjust, and you do change. And there will be that. What's interesting is that the way the game panned out was very, very on point with the way that our coaches planned for.
Now watch what Jerry said. Jerry had me laughing when I was listening to this today. Jerry said, yeah, man, the game pretty much turned out the game pretty much turned out the way the coaches anticipated. But then watch what he says. Watch what he says after this. Listen to this.
The game to pan out. We just thought we could get more stops. We thought we could physically do a better job with.
So if you thought you could get more stops and you didn't, Jerry, the game actually didn't pan out the way you predicted. If you thought you could do more scoring and it didn't turn out the way you thought, Jerry, the game didn't come out the way you predicted, bro. This team has got to do a lot better of adjusting on the fly. It's one thing they don't do well. They don't do it well.
And they were able to scheme us a little bit, that to their credit. But we were in that game close enough. What I think I don't want to take too long on this answer, but Carolina is easy to overlook as a formidable matchup with us. They match up right good against where we need the work, and so they were a tough opponent for us the other day. We almost pulled it off.
Now, see, thought this was very interesting when Jerry said this. He kind of alludes to the fact that the Cowboys may have overlooked the Carolina Panthers. Okay, we're going to see if that's the excuse. But he's saying they may have overlooked them. Well, if they overlooked them, this is some of the same stuff we saw last year. We got to improve on this. Brian has got to be able to get this team up for the games, because I don't think you have to get this team up for the Washington Commanders game next week. This coming Sunday at home. Man, you ain't got to get them up. They're going to be up. It's the Commanders. They're going to be up. You got to get them up for these games like the Carolina Panthers, the Chicago Bears, games that you know you're supposed to win. Those are the games you got to get them up for. Too Tall Jones, appreciate that super chat. He said, Nate Noon said it today. The players don't stay in their hole and get pushed around. Need to fight. Too Tall, you know what, too? But why, though? My question is why. That's the part that I'm struggling with. Why? Why are they not staying in their lanes? Why are they not staying in their gaps? Why can't they play zone? I'm struggling with this. These guys have played football their entire life. I can't buy. They can't do this stuff. From everything people keep telling me, zone is the easiest thing you could ever play. So somebody's got to explain to me why we can't do it. Why can't we do it? What's going on that we can't do it? I'm telling us, some of this has to do with this defense not bought into not just the scheme. They're not bought into Matt Eberflus. I just don't think they're bought into him. And you can tell the way they're talking. My man, Ice Wall Cowboy, he said, I just pray they don't waste Dak's best couple of years. Yeah. But I don't think they are, because the thing is, they shouldn't be wasting him this year. But I think the Cowboys going to go all in next year. But why can't they do this stuff? And we got to start asking ourselves. Trevon Diggs and Deron Bland are sending subliminal messages. So Trevon Diggs says people are running. He said they're scoring a lot of points. They're running around. Let me get the quote. It's in the Mike Fisher report. We got to ask ourselves, why is Trevon Diggs saying this? Trevon Diggs isn't saying this like he's messing up. Trevon Diggs is saying this like there's some kind of scheme problem. He's not saying this like people are messing up. He says, look, Trevon Diggs said it's very frustrating He said it's all these points given up. The receivers are running wide open down the field. Why would Trayvon Diggs be talking like that? Why is Trayvon Diggs talking like that? He's not talking like he's a part of the problem. He's talking like there's a problem that he's a part of, but it's not because he's not doing well. He said receivers are running wide open. When I hear someone say that, that sounds like to me somebody saying, and it's not my fault. He said too many busted coverages. It's a lot. I feel like we're all over the place. Now, I'm not a master interpreter, but that don't sound like somebody who's taking responsibility for bad play. That sounds like somebody who's saying, y'all don't understand. This isn't as simple as they're telling you. Matt Eberflus was supposed to have a very easy system, but for whatever reason, it isn't simple. I want y'all to think back. Do y'all remember when Kellen Moore was here? I'm thinking it might have been 2022. And the Cowboys were running those option routes with the wide receivers. And Dak and the wide receivers were kind of disconnected on those routes because Mike McCarthy didn't like running those routes because Mike McCarthy says that you have to, he said it's a difficult way of running an offense. He said because it requires a lot of anticipation on the part of the defense, on the part of the wide receiver and the quarterback, and they got to have a certain wavelength to be able to complete those types of passes. Y'all remember, and people were like, yeah, these option routes are too difficult. Dak was saying they were not difficult, but Dak's interceptions were up. But I do think a part of that was the fact that Dak Prescott had gotten a broken thumb, I think it was, came back early, and I think that affected his throwing. But nevertheless, I mean, Mike McCarthy was losing his mind over these option routes. Well, for whatever reason, when you look at this, the way and I'm telling you, they're killing Matt Eberflus on these zones. The New York Giants started it. I showed it to y'all a few weeks ago. The way they were doing Matt Eberflus on these zones is criminal. They basically overflood one side. They'll put a tight end in motion. Put the wide receiver either on the outside or put him in the slot. They'll run they'll run the tight end up and make him a curl route. They'll send a wide receiver outside, and then in between them up the seam, they'll send somebody streaking to where, and we saw it on the Rico Dowdle play. They'll send somebody streaking to where there's no one left to cover that wide receiver. The safety's got to make a choice between two players. They did it to the Carolina Panthers, did it to the Cowboys. Why is that happening? That's not somebody not playing zone well. That Rico Dowdle touchdown, there was no one there. Just flat out miscommunication. Something is not right about this scheme that he's running or whatever he's wanting them to do. Kyrie Elam says, if you watch the film, you can tell there were a lot of guys open. Watch this. A lot of schematic things we have to clean up. These players are starting to say it slowly but surely. It's not our fault. That's what they're screaming. It's not our fault. They're telling us, y'all don't understand this scheme ain't everything. This scheme ain't everything they're saying it is, and it's not as easy as people say it's supposed to be. Read some of the super chats. True Text, and appreciate that super chat. Dandy Don, if ends and butts were candy and nuts, we would all have a Merry Christmas. He says, now what I'm hearing from coaches, he said Jerry is BS in my opinion. I'm telling you. Now, understand this, guys. We got to sometimes understand, too, what we're talking about. Jerry can't criticize Matt Eberflus. He can't. Steven can't. They can't do it, y'all. I'm telling you they can't, and I'm going to tell you why they can't. They can't do it. Brian Schottenheimer can't do it. Can y'all not tell by these two quotes? This defense is ready to turn on Matt Eberflus. They're ready to turn. You can't let them turn. You let them turn, the team is going to be in disarray. You can't let them turn. You have to keep working. You have to keep working. You got to stay on Matt Eberflus behind closed doors. You got to get him to change the way that it sounds like the Jerry and them are about to make him change. But you can't do this to Matt in the court of public opinion. You can't do it. Because if you disrespect Matt in the court of public opinion, what do you think the players are going to do? They can't do it. I understand what they're doing. I just think they need to start spreading it on so thick. Because, bro, we can see some of this stuff with our eyes, man. And something, as Keith Sweat said, something just ain't right. This isn't just the players' fault. Some of it is. But some of it isn't. We got a combination of things. And we got to figure out the combination to make this thing work. And I'm just telling you what I believe it is. Based on body language, based on the comments they're starting to make, they don't like the scheme. And I don't think they've brought, let me tell you something. This dude, Matt Eberflus, he is not a motivator. I mean, he's so robotic. He's so robotic, I'm telling you. And I think this is one of the reasons why the players are not sold on him too. K Choice, appreciate that super chat. K Choice, he said, G-Man, I think our defensive players aren't smart. Dan Quinn had to make his scheme simple. Zimmer had to do the same. We heard the same stuff. And now Eberflus, something not adding up, and I'm not just going to say scheme. K-Choice, I'm struggling with that too. K-Choice, I'm struggling with all of this. K-Choice, these guys have played football all their life. Zone? It just can't be that hard. But again, like I said, 4 offensive coordinators in how many years? 4 different offensive coordinators now in what? 6 years? Nolan, Quinn, Zimmer, now Eberflus. I'm telling you, K-Choice, I'm struggling with all of this. Because I don't think it's as simple either way you look at it. I think a big part of it is, though, the players don't believe in this. They don't believe in what he's doing. Too Tall Jones, yeah. I agree with this. The players are playing for themselves. 0 effort. And I think one of the reasons why they're doing it, though, is because they just can't get what he's trying to teach. And so they're just saying, whatever, man, forget it. This whole situation is crazy, but he's got to fix it. He's got to fix it, man. He's just going to have to do he's just going to have to do what Zimmer did. Zimmer simplified it. And when Zimmer simplified it, guess what happened? Zimmer got better. Dominique, he said, appreciate that super chat. He said Diggs and Bland are ball-hawking corners. It make no sense having them play zone, especially when there's no pass rush. Yep. But Dominique, watch this. But what you said one thing can solve the other one. I think the biggest problem for this team right now, they're trying to rush 4 and drop 7. I think that's the biggest problem. Let me tell you what I admire about Dan Quinn. When Jerry Jones wouldn't give Dan Quinn Bobby Wagner, what did Dan Quinn do? Well, doggone it, put Marquise Bell at linebacker. That's Dan Quinn. Even when Dan Quinn had Michael Parsons, you know what Dan Quinn did? Sent 5, sent 6, sent 7 sometimes. Dan Quinn was not the kind, he wasn't the kind of coach that says, because y'all do remember Michael Parsons was complaining, saying that he can't be the only one making plays because they were nullifying him too. So what did Dan Quinn start? What did Dan Quinn start doing? Dan Quinn blitzed. Dan Quinn sent extra players. It wasn't until the playoffs that Dan Quinn monkeyed around and started playing zone and got the break speed off of him. But Dan Quinn, when Jerry didn't give him Bobby Wagner, he didn't play like, well, I'm going to play like I got Bobby Wagner. I'm going to call plays like I got Bobby Wagner. He said, no, I don't have Bobby Wagner. So since I don't have Bobby Wagner, and even though Michael Parsons is the only pass rusher that we have, well, I got to manufacture some pressure. I got to send some guys. Dan Quinn didn't mind blitzing. Dan Quinn basically said, if you're going to beat me, you're going to beat me. You're going to beat me fighting. What did Mike Zimmer do? Everybody said Mike Zimmer don't like the blitz. Strange, isn't it? What did Mike Zimmer start doing when they turned the defense around, but when they turned the defense around, what did Mike Zimmer start doing? Mike Zimmer started adjusting to his players. Mike Zimmer started calling plays that fit his players. Mike Zimmer flat out told Michael Parsons, y'all remember what he told him last year? He told Michael Parsons flat out, hey, line up where you want to. Troy Aikman said he had never seen Mike Zimmer do that. To just let a player line up where he wants to. We're gonna let you do what you want. Rush the passer. So you line up on the left, you line up on the right, or you line up in the middle. Who do that? Matt Eberflus is hell-bent on running his defense the way he wants to run it. But if he wants to keep his job, he better make some serious adjustments, and he better start doing a lot more blitzing. K. Choice, appreciate that super chat. K. Choice, he said Diggs got the majority of his interceptions in zone. He got bad knees. He shouldn't want to play man. He's not fast. Our problem, yeah, you know what? Foots the King kind of brought this up about Diggs, that he ain't got the legs no more. He said our problem is a lack of passion, a lack of pass rush and non-smart football players. And K. Choice, I mean, let's just dig into what you're saying. And I don't even think it's an issue that we don't have the pass rush. I mean, let's just keep it a bean. The Cowboys are trying to play their defense like the Philadelphia Eagles. And they want to rotate defensive linemen in and out, in and out, in and out. But what the Cowboys really need to settle upon, if you ask me, you need to find the best combination of the linemen. And I'll tell you what I think the best combination is for the Cowboys. Jadeveon Clowney, James Houston, lined up on the ends, Oso Digizua, and Kenny Clark at the defensive tackle positions. That's their best defensive line. But on any given play, and on any given situation, what do the Cowboys do? Dante Fowler, Sam Williams. Sam Williams still making boneheaded plays. Dante Fowler, Sam Williams. Donovan Ezra-Raku, Dante Fowler. Donovan Ezra. I'm just telling you who my three main pass rushers would be if I'm the Cowboys. Donovan Ezeraku, Jadeveon Clowney, James Houston. Those are my pass rushers. Those are my pass rushers. But the Cowboys, man, Choice, tell me what you see. Because I'm telling you, bro, they can't. When I'm looking at them, I'm like sometimes wondering, like, who do they got rushing the passer on this play? James Houston is their best pass rusher. And I think Jadeveon Clowney, if you look at him on the tape, he keeps getting better and better. Jadeveon Clowney is their second best pass rusher. I don't think it's so much they don't have a pass rush. I think it's the way they're rushing the passer. And it sounds like to me that Jerry and these guys are sitting around in a room. It's like they're sitting around in a room talking about how Philly did certain things. I don't care how Philly did certain things. We're not Philly. Our quarterback is better. We got better wide receivers. What they have better than us is a running back. And they extended him. I don't even know if he ain't running like he was running before. But defensively, man, we can't do what Philly did. We don't have those players. We don't have the players that Philly had last year. We don't have those players. But it's like the Cowboys want to play that style. They got to find their best combination and stick with it. Stick with it. Okay, Charles, I'm struggling, man, because this whole thing, man, it's like every which way you explain it, it's like if what we're saying is true, boy, we in trouble, and Matt Eberflus ain't even the problem. But I do think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of stubbornness by Matt Eberflus. I think it's also, Choice, a combination that we got some older players that we don't want to admit may not be as good as we think they are. DaRon Bland is kind of like, if I could describe DaRon Bland, hit or miss. DaRon Bland is still trying to work himself back to that like crazy year he had. He's hit or miss. Big play or maybe big play. He make a big play or a big play get made on him. Trayvon Diggs. Foots the King talked about it. He's trying to play trail, but he's not capable of doing that no more. Now, one thing I will give Trayvon Diggs, he don't have the speed anymore, but I do think he still has some of the instinct. I think he still has some of the instinct. I mean, he almost made a big interception against Green Bay had they not caught us with 12 players on the field. But I'll tell you this, Choice, I'll be honest with you. At this point, based on what I've seen, I'm not saying that I would relent, but I would give these players, okay, you telling me you want man-to-man? Well, we going man-to-man this week. We're going man-to-man. And if y'all get y'all socks toasted, I don't want to hear nothing else. I'd make a deal with them. I'm going to give you exactly what you want. But here is the deal. If you fail, you start listening and you give effort and you do what the heck I'm telling you to do. If you succeed, we'll keep doing more. We'll keep doing more and we will continue to adjust to do what y'all do. But man, I just think, man, Choice, this is a combination of things, man. This is a combination of things. Now, I do think the player that's going to help them to buy into this when it's all said and done is going to be Demarion Overshown. Because Demarion Overshown is a captain. He's a company guy, but he's also a great athlete. And I think he's really going to have the defense. I think he's going to really have the defense riled up, hyped up. I think he's going to have them a lot more on point. He's going to really be managing the defense. And he's really one of these inspirational guys. So I really think that he's going to help them out a whole lot. But man, K. Charles, I'm telling you, this is a very good discussion. We're going to discuss it some more when we get to the end of the show, as we start talking about winning the NFC East. Because we're going to talk about this also going forward this week, because we keep saying that Matty Eberflus got to make some improvements. Well, how does he improve it? We're going to keep talking about this the whole week, and then we'll see if the Cowboys start revealing some things as the week goes on. But, man, hey, you know what? I'm excited, K. Choice, man. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the discussion, the dialogue. Because, man, I'm telling you, there's some serious, man, this is a combination of things. Combination of things. It really is. My brother Roger got in the flow rider. What up? He said the defense going to start calling their own plays in the huddle like Willie Beeman. When he give his son, he said, I wouldn't blame him. Man, I don't even know if I'm not going to say they're dumb, but I don't even know. Man, boy, don't even get me started. K-Choice, man, let me tell you something. K-Choice, a lot of people say this team is missing Micah Parsons. I don't think this team is missing Micah Parsons. I think what happened is that Jerry and these guys thought that Sam Fowler and they thought that Sam and Dante Fowler were going to they can't be Micah, but maybe they would be good. Maybe they would be good. Maybe they would be able to get some sacks. Maybe they could do, man. Boy, Dante Fowler, man, I said it before. Dante Fowler and Sam Williams have been huge. They have been huge disappointments, man. Huge. K-Choice. He said, we go man-to-man against Washington. He said, we might as well take the L. He said, we might as well take the L. He said, Wilson going to be lost. Diggs going to get burned, and Bland isn't Bland. He's not. I agree, Bland isn't Bland. I think Bland is still trying to work himself back. He's not Bland. And Trayvon Diggs definitely ain't Diggs no more. He definitely ain't Diggs. Man, hey, let me tell you something, K-Choice. I can clearly see where this Washington game is going. I can clearly see where it's going. Hey, man, it is going to be a scoring bonanza. I really do. I think it's going to be a scoring bonanza. I do. All right, let me read a couple more in the chat. I want to read some in the chat, and then I'm gonna show you something that I pulled up on Matt Eberflus. Kamikaze, yes, he is going to raise the stakes on the defense. I absolutely agree. Because he's like a lightning rod. I absolutely agree. I do think that he is going to really get the defense because he's just that kind of player. I do think he's going to have the defense playing really, really well. I'm with you. I think he'll have them playing better. I don't want to say he's going to fix the defense because they got a lot of stuff to fix. I don't think he's going to fix it, but yeah. Bass, he said, I don't think I can get the fat one, Stephanie Jones, but Jerry and Matt sleeping. Okay, let me translate this again. Oh, see, I can't get the fact Stephen Jones. Okay, he said I think you're saying I can understand Jerry Jones. Stephen Jones, but you're saying Jerry and Matt is sleeping. I think I got you. Lisa Worley, she said this can't be that bad. They're not in the right spot. Lisa Worley, that's what I'm saying. These guys ain't that dumb. There's something else going on here. Regulator, I said it before, Parsons wouldn't make a difference. And the reason why I know Parsons wouldn't make a difference, Parsons isn't really making a difference in Green Bay. I don't think the kind that they thought he was going to make. They're not mollywopping and blowing teeth. Man, we scored 40 on them boys. Cleveland Browns tied them. Bengals didn't even have a quarterback this week. Yeah, he wouldn't have helped, man. He wouldn't have helped. Brandon Collins, dude loses number one player on defense, ought to have a game plan just to scrap it just before the season started. Brandon Collins, I'm telling you why that's not true. Brandon Collins, we started the same way last year with Micah Parsons, man. I've already done that review. But Brandon Collins, I'm telling you. I'm not telling you I got a memory like an elephant. But I know what this team looked like last year. And when Michael Parsons was playing the first 4 games, The Cleveland game started out just like the Philadelphia Eagle game this year. Boy, we thought we was Super Bowl bound on that Cleveland game. Let me show you just for a moment. Let me show you. I'm telling you, man, we man, I know we didn't want to get rid of Michael Parsons, but I'm telling y'all, we gotta stop acting like that this is something new. No, bro. Hey, brothers and sisters, let me show you something. This is not new. It's not true what people are saying about Michael Parsons. Look at this. We beat the Browns 33-17 last year. You ready for the next games? The Saints came to Dallas. When the Saints go marching in, they mollywopped us 44-19. Michael Parsons on the field. Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence on the field. Mollywopped us. Mollywopped us. This don't tell the whole story, but it definitely tell you a part of the story. Show me Michael Parsons on the list. This is Michael Parsons. I don't want to hear about his quarterback pressures. I don't want to hear nothing about his quarterback pressures because I can tell you now, whatever pressure he got last year didn't work against the Saints. This would be no different with Michael Parsons. None. Saints mollywopped us. Mollywopped us. Came up in here and ran all up and down through the kitchen, drinking orange juice with no glass, straight out the jug. Derek Carr, 11 for 16, 243. That's Michael Parsons on the field. We're lying to ourselves. I'm telling you, I'm so tired of that Michael Parsons excuse. It's nothing but an excuse. We had the same problem with Mike Zimmer last year. For the entire first half of the season, we had the same problem with Mike Zimmer. And it wasn't just when Michael Parsons got hurt. No, this is before Michael Parsons got hurt. Man, we were mollywopped. There is something inherently not right. The Baltimore Ravens. Don't let this game fool you. Baltimore Ravens mollywopped us. Dak Prescott came back in the fourth quarter and scored 19 unanswered points. These boys had us down 28-6 going into the fourth quarter. They mollywopped us. And this dude, Michael Parsons, was on the field. We got to stop this lie. We got to stop this lie that this would be different with Michael Parsons on the field. Michael Parsons, 4 tackles, 1 assist, no sacks. We were struggling with sacks last year at the beginning of the season. This is where I'm telling you, people be lying to themselves. We were struggling with sacks last year. We got the same amount of sacks. Week 5, I think we had 10 and a half sacks. We had the same amount with Michael Parsons here last year. We're lying to ourselves. We're lying to ourselves, and then we'll start talking about, yeah, but you're not counting the quarterback pressure. Well, tell me about the quarterback pressure. The Saints scored 44 on us. Then we came back against the Baltimore Ravens. We were down, 28-6. Explain it to me again. Explain it to me. Michael Parsons was not making a difference. Was not making a difference. We were 20-15. We had a similar game against the New York Giants last year. Michael Parsons was in that game. Michael Parsons got hurt in that game, but Michael Parsons was in that game. And the Giants were, Daniel Jones was giving us all kinds of problems with Michael Parsons in the game. And D-Law. D-Law and Michael Parsons got hurt, I think, in the same game. Same game. Michael Parsons, 2 tackles. We got to stop lying to ourselves. This ain't about Michael Parsons. That is the biggest lie to some of these guys. I was on Ed Water today. I was on Ed Water trying to tell this lie. On Clarence Hill trying to tell this same lie. Lies, lies, lies. Matter of fact, 2017, Michael Parsons didn't even play in the Pittsburgh Steelers game. It was one of the best games we played of the entire season. Lies, lies, and more lies. I think Michael Parsons came back around the Washington, I think it was around the Washington, maybe the Philadelphia game. I think he came back against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this is the game he came back in. And then we start talking about all these old dumb pressure and win rates and all this stuff. Meanwhile, we getting our clocks cleaned 41-7. This stuff wouldn't have been different with Michael Parsons, man. We'd be lying to ourselves. 2 tackles, Michael Parsons. We're lying to ourselves. This ain't a Michael Parsons problem. And this team had already been anticipating trading Michael Parsons. Matter of fact, that was the second game. Let me go back. Michael Parsons was in this game too. I think he came back against the Eagles. They mollywopped us 34-6. Texans mollywopped us 34-10. Michael Parsons in the game. We beat the Commanders 34-26 on some of the weirdest last 6 minutes of a game you'll ever see. New York Giants, we wound up beating them. The Bengals wind up beating us. And they manhandled Michael Parsons in this game. I'm not going to go back and look at all these stats. This is where Michael Parsons cleaned up against the Carolina Panthers. I think he had a great game against the Panthers. Not sure against the Buccaneers. The Eagles mollywopped us again. And then we wound up almost beating the Commanders. But I'm telling you, man, those sacks were fool's gold with Michael Parsons. We actually had 52 sacks. He only had 12 of them. 12 of them or something in that range. But this team was no better with Michael Parsons. We're lying to ourselves. We got to stop that. We are lying to ourselves about Michael Parsons. Right now, James Houston has more sacks than Michael Parsons. That's not a lie. That's not conjecture. And James Houston, I guarantee you, if you go and check the pass rushing plays that James Houston is in on, do we not realize that James Houston has also been on a limited snap count with 3.5 sacks? Man, we're lying to ourselves. Michael Parsons wouldn't make this mess better. The only thing he did was come off the edge. That's it. That's pretty much it. And again, I got even more proof for us. He played in the game against the Dallas Cowboys this year, and the Cowboys persisted to put a 40 on him. Man, we lying to ourselves. This defense was similarly bad last year. It was bad last year. Now, when they keep talking about Matt Eberflus, and then we're going to move on to Brian Broaddus. But when they keep talking about Matt Eberflus, I'm confused. They keep talking about the success of Matt Eberflus, talking about Matt Eberflus has been successful in this league. Angie the Rebel Chick said, I don't care, G. I'm taking Michael pass rush over Sam and Fowler. Oh, I'm taking him over them two. Angie, I'll take you over Sam and Dante Fowler. Sam Williams and Dante Fowler, Angie, have been a huge disappointment. I'm taking you over them. But I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all think this is a mess without Michael Parsons, this thing would be in disarray. Because Michael Parsons would be talking in the media about this defense on such a level that I don't even know we better handle it. Game 6. We're going to see what happened with Game 7. But again, I'm telling us, just like we're talking about this trade deadline stuff, people who keep talking about, yeah, Cowboys need to go bring in Trey Hendrickson. He's not fixing the team. Max Crosby ain't fixing the team. The Cowboys aren't one player away. The Cowboys need either 1 or 2 linebackers. And I'm not just talking about some people to fill in. They need some top flight linebackers. The Cowboys probably need 1 more safety, and the Cowboys need 1 more cornerback. And I mean, they need a good one. They need 1 more cornerback. The Cowboys probably need about 4 players. If you're talking about fixing it right now, I would go linebacker, cornerback, safety, and then edge rusher. There is no way I'd go edge rusher and think that fixes this team. It ain't going to fix it. If you go back and look at the tape, Man, some of these throws that these quarterbacks are making, man, they're not even taking barely 2.5 seconds because they know exactly where they're going. Now, edge rusher wouldn't help us on this. This thing needs an overhaul, and it needs a couple more players. And I say they probably need about 4 players. Now, when we look at Matt Eberflus, let's kind of look at what they're talking about with success. So he was with the Browns in 2009. He's 5-11, linebackers coach. He was a linebackers coach for the Cleveland Browns, 2009, 2010. 5-11 on both of those teams. Linebackers coach, Cowboys, 2011, 2012, 2013, 8-8. 2014 linebackers coach, 12-4. Excuse me. 2015 linebackers coach, 4-12. 2016 defensive pass game coordinator, linebackers coach, 13-3. Defensive pass game coordinator and linebackers coach, 2017. Indianapolis Colts, 10-6. Defensive coordinator, 2020, he was 11-5 with the Colts. 9-8 in 2021. Bears, 2022 through 24. He didn't have not one winning season. He was 3-14, 7-10, 4-8. And so far with the Cowboys, he's 2-3-1. Where's all the success we keep talking about? Where is it? I'm missing it. He was the linebackers coach. He was the linebackers coach in 2016. But as the defense coordinator, he's 10-6, 7-9, 11-5, 9-8. So 2 of those seasons I would call winning. I guess 9-8 is winning too. But how deep are these teams in the playoffs? Because I don't see a whole bunch of it. I mean, when we start talking about success, this is why I be struggling I'm struggling when you're talking about success. I mean, when you tell me that this coach has been successful, I mean, bro, I want to see some skins. I want to see some skins on the wall. I mean, I want to see some show enough evidence. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to go looking hindsight 2020. But I'm telling you, I think the coach the Cowboys really made a mistake on not getting is Robert Saleh. I think the mistake was not getting Robert Saleh. I mean, Robert Saleh to me is the kind of coach that you bring on your coaching staff. He's the kind of coach you bring on your coaching staff and he changes things. He's got a dog mentality. Let me give you an example of what I call successful. This is Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh was the defensive quality control coach for the Seattle Seahawks under Pete Carroll. He spent 3 seasons with the Seahawks, including their 2013 championship season when they defeated the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. During this span, the defense was known as the Legion of Boom. That's what I call success. That's what I call success. Then he went to the San Francisco 49ers. He did a stint with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but we already know the Jaguars pretty much stink. He got with the San Francisco 49ers. It says during the 2019 season, the 49ers defense was 6th in the league in forced turnovers, 2nd in total defense, 1st in passing defense, and 4th in sacks. This was the first time since 2003 that a team finished in the top 10 in both scoring and yards per game. Saleh helped lead the 49ers to a 13-3 record and a Super Bowl berth where they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what I call success. That's what I call success. He was out there. Saleh was out there. And of course, he made the mistake of going to the New York stinking Jets, one of the most worst ran organizations in football. But I believe he is the coach that the Cowboys, I think he's the coach the Cowboys should have picked up. But it's spilled milk now. We got to roll what we got. And so we'll talk about this part here more at the end. All right, so let's go to Brian Broadus, man. I appreciate all that, K-Choice. I appreciate all of y'all with the comments and everything, man. Appreciate the dialogue. Too Tall Jones, appreciate that super chat. Too Tall Jones said Michael Parsons, 4 years, Cowboys, 256 tackles, 52 sacks, 9 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions. He had stats. I'll give him that. Definitely had stats, but he ain't the reason why. Him being gone is not the reason why this team is hurting. They had already planned on him not being here. They'd already planned on it. But I think where the plan backfired is Dante Fowler and Sam Williams. That's where the plan backfired. The Cowboys literally thought that Dante Fowler was going to be killing it. Dante Fowler and Sam Williams, biggest disappointments. Big disappointments, man. If I were the Cowboys, I'd be trying to move Sam Williams. Shoot, Gwen Bowden, she said, gee, Diggs is digging himself right off the Cowboys squad. Shoot, I don't think Diggs care no more. I think he cares about playing good, but I don't think he necessarily cares because I think he knows he's not going to be on the Cowboys next year. Fowler was a smaller sample size. Michael, Sam Williams doesn't have the IQ smarts to be great or very good. He's similar to Randy Gregory. Robert Dudley, I can't help but agree. Sam Williams ain't got it all up there, man. He ain't got it all up there. Daniel said, gee, let me talk to Flus real quick. I bet I can get him to listen to me. Well, I can tell you this. You better start listening to somebody. And it sounds like to me that Jerry, Steven, and Brian done kind of like, we're going to see if it is what it is. It sounds like to me they done had a serious talk with him. So we're going to see what it do. Jakira, she said, just like you said, G, the Cowboys going to win against the Commanders and the Cowboys fans will be upset like we couldn't do that week 6. Yep. I think they're going to beat them. I think they're going to beat them. Flat out going to beat them. I do. Yep. Parsons had 2.5 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. He has 2.5 sacks. And let me tell you why that is crazy, Jakira. Let me tell you why that's crazy. Do we not realize the defense that Michael Parsons is playing on? He playing on the Green Bay Packers defense. He should be balling out of his mind. Kelvin Hicks, I just showed you I'm not agreeing with you. Nope. I'm not saying that Michael Parsons didn't have his moments. Nope. The defense was not good last year with Michael Parsons. It was not good. I'm telling us it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good in the numbers, and it wasn't good on the tape. It wasn't good. I'm telling you. If you go back even and look at the tape, it wasn't good. And again, Kelvin Hicks. So now you got to explain it to me. So you say scores don't tell everything. You got to explain it to me, Kelvin Hicks. Explain it to me. Why is he on the Green Bay Packers? Why isn't his numbers astronomical? Why don't the Green Bay Packers look any better with Michael Parsons? Explain it to me. Explain why he doesn't look any better. Explain how we put up 40 on him and he was on the field. How did we put up 40 on him and the Green Bay Packers? Not buying it. I'm not buying it. We keep making this excuse with Michael Parsons. We were terrible with him last year on the field. Superstar status, he said, gee, if everyone's on evaluation and everyone we need and haven't seen needs to play, no more favoritism. The best players at every position needs to play, period. Live up to the compete every day. Superstar status, I don't even believe that no more. And we're going to talk about that at the end of the game. And at the end of the show. And we're going to start talking about this all the way up until the Commanders game. Because some of the moves the Cowboys can make to improve their defense are in the locker room. They're in the locker room. And this dude, Brian Schottenheimer, he's similar. When it comes to the way he likes to run, Boss Cowboy talked about this. It is obvious that Brian Schottenheimer has a preference when it comes to running backs. He likes the bruiser type of running backs, the dirty, gritty, between the tackle running backs. I'm telling y'all right now, Jaden Blue leaves the Cowboys and goes somewhere else, he's going to be a star. He's going to be a star. You watch what I tell you. Brian Schottenheimer don't want to run outside. He wants to run between the tackles. So now I'm realizing something because Mike McCarthy had this same stupid problem last year too. The only thing that he wanted to do was run between the tackles. The Carolina Panthers showed him they were not letting him run between the tackles. And what did he persist to do? He persisted to keep trying to run between the tackles. And that's why the Carolina Panthers held Javonte Williams to less than 30 yards. Brian said we're going to be multiple. So Brian, with being multiple also entail running between the tackles and running on the edges, Javonte Williams can't run on the edges. Javonte Williams can't run on the edges. That's not his game. Javonte Williams is a between the tackles. He's between the 1, the 3. He's that type of running back. You need Jaden Blue to get you those outside runs. And don't be throwing lazy screens out there. Come on, man. You got to do better than this. You got to sell that stuff better than what you sold it. Man, I'm telling you, man, sometimes coaches will make players look bad. Coaches will make players look bad. If you're going to be multiple, bro, be multiple. Same thing on defense. If you're going to be multiple, then be multiple. They hadn't been multiple. Brian keeps saying it, but they hadn't been it. They haven't been multiple. Jay Recruiter, I think you make a very good point. Jordan Lewis and D-Law miss more than Michael. Yep. Only problem with D-Law, he can't stay healthy. He can't even stay healthy over there in Seattle. I'm not sure if he's back on the field. But I think Jordan Lewis was a huge miss. Cowboys should have paid Jordan Lewis. Cowboys should have paid Jordan Lewis. No doubt about it. And I think Brian Schottenheimer wanted Jerry to pay Jordan Lewis. But the Cowboys kept thinking that they could just string Jordan Lewis along with 1-year deals and nobody would want him. Yeah, people wanted Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis is a dog, still playing very well. And the Jaguars are winning this year. Rico Jones, he said the Saints was on that second line for sure. Man, let me tell you, the Saints mollywopped us last year, man, with Michael Parsons on the field. All right. Ruby Sweet said it did the Saints. She said it did the Saints fans had a parade on Collins. Sammy's fan. They all waiting on him. They all waiting on Agent Zero. I'm telling you, they believe that when he gets back on the field, they believe that they believe that he's gonna elevate this defense to a whole nother level. We're gonna see. All right, let's listen to this other interview by Jerry Jones. I forgot about this interview. I appreciate all the dialogue though, man. Y'all are really got some great comments in the chat. Let's look at this other thing that came down with Jerry Jones. It looks like they were at some kind of East West. I don't know what this is they're at, but I see somebody with a funny hat on. Let's see if we can pull up old Jerry Jones.
Yeah. Talk about your deep respect for Shriners and the work they do at Shriners Hospital. What does it mean to you to host the 101st edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl at the Star in Frisco?
It makes me want the Cowboys, the Star, the NFL. at the Senior Bowl. So nobody is any prouder or any more given than they are to help the kind of stories that we really point out that the Shriner Hospital, and they're so proud of it. I've been around Shriners really not deep last year because we had so many injuries, and Sam Williams really doing their part. But I'm pretty proud of how we've played.
Now, make you motivated, maybe pick up the phone.
Proud of it. I've been around Shriners
all right,
my
let's pick it
life,
up.
And I just can't tell you how much I admire them as people who are trying to help.
Jerry, 3 weeks to the trade deadline exactly. Is the way the offense is playing right now make you motivated, maybe pick up the phone and make some moves?
The way the offense is playing?
Yeah.
Well, of course, I'd like to have seen us take that ball on in when we had possession up the other night against Charlotte, but
Stop it, Jerry.
our offense is playing at a level that we can play better, but I'm pretty proud of how we've played so far.
Now, what Jerry said right there, and I said this last week, it's scary to think the Cowboys can play better. Dak Prescott is doing this without Michael Parsons and missing offensive linemen, missing Cavante Turpin, still putting up mega points. I just don't see anything the Cowboys. Do not get me wrong when I say this. There is nothing the Cowboys can do. There is nothing they can do offensively in free agency that would make the offense that much better. Let me give you an example. Anybody ever heard of diminishing returns? Anybody ever heard of diminishing returns? Let me give you an example of diminishing returns. Diminishing returns, for example, you go from an 8-track to a cassette. That's a huge difference. You go from a cassette to let's say a cassette to a record, wax record. That's a big difference. You go from a record to a CD. That's a huge difference. But then when you start going from CD to streaming, it's not really a huge difference. And where you would buy like maybe 1, 2, maybe 5 CDs a year, only cost you about $50 or $60. Well, now to hear your favorite artist, you got to go out and you got to buy a streaming service, and they're going to charge you anywhere from $15 to $20 a year. $15 to $20 a month, and you're paying somewhere around $200 to $240 a year. While you may have access to all of the music, and a lot of it you're not even going to listen to, the music don't really sound that much better. So the higher you go up in features, the more your returns diminish. It's like going from a BMW to a Mercedes. It's diminishing returns. Let's say a BMW costs you $40 and a Mercedes costs you $80. Is it really $80,000 better? It's diminishing returns. If the Cowboys brought in another, let's just say the Cowboys brought in another running back. What are you going to do? What is he going to do? How many snaps is he going to get? What is he going to do? Do we not realize that we have literally been, and let me pull this up. Let me just show you sometimes. I just don't think. Sometimes you got to think about things. And I'm not saying that people are dumb or anything. But you got to look at this team kind of for what it is. And this is what I mean right here. So let's look at this real quick. The Cowboys scored 20 points on the Eagles. They scored 40 on the Giants. 14 on the Bears. 40 on the Packers. 37 on the Jets. 27 on the Panthers. So what are you trying to accomplish offensively that you can't accomplish if you don't get that running back? What are you trying to accomplish? The Cowboys have already scored 42 times. They've scored 40 twice. They've scored 40 twice, and they've almost scored 30 twice. They scored 37 and 27. So are we saying we get a running back, he's going to help us score 42, 49? What is he going to do? He's going to help us score 42. Is he going to help us score? Is he going to help us score 45? Will he get us 40 points in the against the Jets, against the Panthers? Does he get us that other touchdown? Get us to 34? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're injured. You've been injured since the Bears game. You put up 40. You put up 37. You put up 27. Injured. So with CeeDee Lamb back, both of your linemen, Kevontae Turpin, what would be the point of bringing in another offensive star? Explain to me the point again. Because will they really make that big of a difference offensively? They won't make a huge difference. Not saying they won't make some difference. You're talking about diminishing returns. It wouldn't be worth to give up a second-round draft pick for a running back when your offense is already high-powered. If you're looking at this schedule, it is blatantly obvious what you need to be focused on during the trade deadline. You don't need to be looking offensively. The Eagles scored 24. The Giants scored 37. The Bears scored 31. The Packers scored 40. The Jets scored 22. And the Panthers scored 30. No, where you're going to get your biggest return from is defense. Defense. That's the only place the Cowboys would get the biggest return. It's the place they're going to get the biggest return. Offensively just don't really make sense. It just doesn't make sense. The Cowboys, stop letting people fool you about Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue is not a bad running back. We saw this kid last year like we saw some of these other college players in the playoffs. Jaden Blue was a monster last year. We got to stop letting people lie to us. The simple fact is, Jaden Blue is another one of these players, and the Cowboys keep doing this. Mozzie Smith. Dan Quinn didn't want Mozzie Smith. Dan Quinn didn't want Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith was a front office pick, and it is blatantly obvious. Mozzie Smith, the experiment is over. The Mozzie Smith experiment is absolutely over. The Cowboys have shown him so poorly that they can't even move him for a trade now. I don't think there's anybody that would probably trade for him. They would probably have to beg the San Diego or the Los Angeles Chargers. They'd probably have to beg him to trade for him. And the only reason is that Harbaugh is his ex-coach. The Cowboys went and got Jaden Blue, knowing full well that Brian Schottenheimer wants to run a power run game. Phil Maffa is probably the running back that Brian Schottenheimer wants on the field rather than Jaden Blue. Phil Maffa, because he's more of the same. I think he might be a little bit faster on the top end than Javonte Williams. That's the kind of back Brian Schottenheimer likes. It's obvious. And we're out here killing Jaden Blue, talking about he's scared and timid and he's soft and he can't run and he can't. Yes, he can. You don't make it this far and not be able to do with that. You don't make it that far. This dude can play. Brian Schottenheimer's not putting this dude in position to win. It's diminishing returns. It's diminishing returns. The Cowboys really need to be honed in. Need to be honed in on defense. Now, Angie, don't take me talking down on Michael. I'm not talking down on Michael Parsons. I'm telling you the truth about it. I'm telling you the truth about Michael Parsons. We don't like truth about Michael Parsons. But Jerry was right, and we're going to have to admit it. We had Michael Parsons for 4 years. He wasn't the difference maker. It wasn't that he wasn't good. It wasn't that he didn't make plays. It's not that he didn't get sacks. It's not that he didn't get quarterback pressures. But he was not $45 million for an edge rusher good. I wouldn't have paid it. I wouldn't have paid it. I'm paying George Pickens before I pay Michael Parsons. Why? Because George Pickens gets the ball in his hands and can change games at any given moment. At any given moment. Jerry Jones betted on Dak Prescott, bottom line. And I said this from the beginning. All roads pointed to George Pickens. Jerry Jones already knows he's going to have to pay George Pickens probably $30 million a year. Now, I would rather have George Pickens for $30 million a year rather than have Michael Parsons for 45. Because George Pickens has been the true difference. We saw this team last year with Michael Parsons healthy and Dak Prescott not healthy. We saw it and we couldn't do nothing. But with Michael Parsons not being here and Dak Prescott being here with George Pickens, and just imagine this team with CD Lamb and without George Pickens. And the only thing they would have had is Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin, and Jonathan Mingo. It's not the same team. Dak Prescott probably still would have had some success, but not what he had with George Pickens. Michael Parsons on this team without George Pickens, it's the same. It's exactly the same. I promise you exactly the same. George Pickens has been a huge difference. And the Cowboys shot themselves in the foot last week. They shot themselves in the foot because they should have went to George Pickens. I'm not talking down on Michael Parsons. I'm just telling the truth about Michael Parsons. This defense wasn't any better last year with him on it. It wasn't any better. It wasn't. And that's why right now everybody's going to have egg on their face, because I'm telling us, unless Michael Parsons and the Green Bay Packers go to the Super Bowl, it's a failure. It's a failure. It's a failure. You don't go and get Michael Parsons giving up 2 first-round draft picks. You don't bet the whole farm giving up Kenny Clark. You don't bet the whole farm and pay that kind of money for an edge rusher. What has he gotten you so far? Not to mention he was terrible in the locker room. And I'm telling you what we're going through right now, Michael Parsons would be having us going through hell right now.
And we do have some serious help on the way, and that's part of the reason I feel as good as I do.
Jerry's talking about internal.
Dak's playing outstanding. Certainly Pickens is playing outstanding. And we've got some other people that are really doing their part, that are showing up. And I'm going to be pretty general here because I like what we're doing over there defensively. Anybody can tell you there's some adjustments that we need to make.
A bunch.
We've got a lot of personnel, especially in our pass rush. We're deep in pass rush. We were really not deep last year because we had so many injuries. And Sam Williams, Parsons, people like that, Lawrence. Well, we're not in that shape this year, and so we've got a real strength there. And I think we'll use that as we look and adjust in the games ahead. And as always, we got some adjustments to make. We'll.
Now, let me tell you the lie that people are telling on Jerry Jones. People are lying, saying that Jerry Jones said that this is as deep of a pass rushing team that we've ever had. Pure lies. Jerry Jones, nowhere in this conversation is going to say that the people who rushing the passer this year are better than Michael Parsons. Nowhere did he say that. Nowhere. Jerry is saying something simple. We have more pass rushers than we had when Michael Parsons was here. Michael Parsons was the pass rusher. We got pass rushers this year. They're just not panning out. I don't know why you mentioned Sam Williams. Sam Williams ain't doing well. Dante Fowler ain't doing well. Donovan Ezeraku getting better. James Houston, by far, is the best pass rusher. And he's not even getting the snaps he should be getting. Jadeveon Clowney is coming along. We got to realize he was on the couch. Jadeveon Clowney was on the couch all offseason. So the Cowboys have depth at pass rusher. They don't have the pass rush. And even when you talk about the pass rush, some of that is scheme also. Where Matt Eberflus is so boneheaded. Bro, if you can't get there with 4, send 5. That's Dan Quinn's philosophy. You can't get there with 4, get there with 5. You can't get there with 5, get there with 6. Matt Eberflus won't do it and still getting his socks burnt off. Bro, come on, man. You can't even have this conversation, Matt Eberflus. You couldn't even sit down in front of the coaching staff saying, well, if we rush 5, then that's one less person in pass coverage, and we're gonna get burned. You already getting burned. Man, I'm telling you, if I'm Matt Eberflus this week, man, I'm sending 7. Bro, I'm sending 7 this week. I'm sending 7, 6. Man, shoot, 7, 7, 7, 93, 11. Man, I'm sending all kinds of combinations. Man, I might even mess around. Hey, Brian, I just want you to know I'm sending 9. They got 3 wide receivers, okay? We either getting a sack or we getting burned. We already getting burned. Matt Eberflus has got to stop being stubborn, and he got to play with what he got. He got to play with what he got. He can't be having these conversations like, oh, I don't want to do this because of... No. Can't do it. Gwen Bowden, appreciate that super chat. Too Tall Jones said Cowboys only have 8 days left for Mingo to the 53-man roster. I think he's playing this week. I think he's on the roster this week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think he's on the roster this week.
Make those and on defense, and not necessarily an adjustment of player or an adjustment of something you'd see when you line up, but more an adjustment of just focus and an emphasis on some of the keys that those players are keying off of. But I think we can improve on our defense. And candidly, to answer your question, we have thought all along that if we see a way to improve this year with a trade at the deadline, then we'll take advantage of it. And that's what we positioned for to start this year, was to have ammunition to do things if we have an opportunity.
Now, Attack on the Cowboys made a very interesting point. Why aren't people asking, is there anybody picking up the phone, or are you just waiting on people to call you? Because if the Cowboys are waiting on people to call them, well, then they may not get a lot of people to call them. The only way somebody would be calling the Cowboys is that they want those draft picks. It's the only reason why they would be calling them. They either want a first or a second. It'd be the only reason why they're calling them. But it's like Jerry is also saying, I'm not going to pick up the phone and call anyone else. And I still, too, I also challenge, who would they get? Who? The Bengals, or as I call them, the Bengals. The Bengals ain't giving up Trey Hendrickson. Man, they went and got Joe Flacco. They trying to win. The Bengals went and got Joe Flacco. They're trying to win. They gave up a 5th and a 6th? Bananas crazy to me. Banana crazy. They're trying to win. I just don't know who we would be trying to get. Who? The Bengals ain't letting go of Hendrickson. I don't think the Raiders are ready to let go of Crosby. And we already know, I mean, we're talking about the top pass rushers. We already know Pittsburgh ain't giving up Watt. Cleveland Browns, I don't think they're giving up Myles Garrett. I think they're going to try to get, let me tell you, the Cleveland Browns got some plans. If I'm not mistaken, the Cleveland Browns are trying to get a new stadium built or something. The Cleveland Browns got some doggone plans. And I'm telling us now, Shedeur Sanders is in those plans. I believe Shedeur Sanders is the next big move the Cleveland Browns going to make. And if he's going to be one of the big players or one of the big moves they make, shoot, they want Myles Garrett on the Cleveland Browns. They're not giving up Myles Garrett. So, who do you get? Who do you get? You know, everybody's talking about Cowboys, this, that, and that. Okay, well, who do they get? Because I'm just telling us, man, one player ain't going to fix this. Overshawn going to come back. He going to help. Savon Revel Jr., I don't know how much he's going to help. It ain't like he's a veteran. How much is he going to help? So who would they get? Because even with Stephon Gilmore back there, this thing would be trash. They would still have to make some adjustments to the scheme. But I got a strange feeling on Sunday. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a shootout on Sunday. We're going to see some points on that. We're going to see some points on that board on Sunday. Yep. And I'm telling you, Swag Dal, I'm just telling you. I would give Trayvon Diggs exactly what he wants. I would. And I'm going to tell him straight up, you going to put up or shut up. You get burned, you done for the day. You get burned, you done for the day. If you can show me you can do it, then we'll keep doing it. I tell Blaine the same thing. Y'all want man to man? Well, you better put up or shut up. I tell him, Swag. I tell him straight up. Straight up, I would tell him. But I do think Matt needs to start trying to win the trust of his defense. Because at the end of the day, they're going to make him or break him. He's got to win the trust. Freddie Morales, what's going on? He said, look, you don't have to be a genius to figure out what is wrong with the boys' defense. He said it has a coach unwilling or unable to coach man-to-man and defensive corners and safeties, unable or unwilling to, yeah, I get the first part. Doesn't want to adjust. Lisa Worley, oh, Lisa, don't say it. Lisa, don't say Brian is soft. She said, I think our head coach is soft. He needs to play with heart. He's coaching scared. I was so mad after the Carolina game, I could have broke the TV. Such bad play calling at the end. Lisa, I do not understand why he didn't throw the ball 3 straight times to George Pickens. They had no answer for him. He tries to get too cute for me sometimes. A little too cute, but I'm still rolling with it. Tries to get a little too cute. Superstar said he'll play for 6 figures. Yeah, Yeah, y'all saying the same thing, Swag. Y'all saying the same thing. Lisa said he coaching scared. Swag said he got to stop starting off games with conservative like McCarthy. Yeah. Rico said facts, G. I'm just telling you, if I was him, shoot, I'm going bombs away. Daniel M. Sala wanted to go back to San Francisco. The Cowboys would have paid him, he'd came. Shoot, Cowboys don't like paying those doggone coaches. I would have loved to see him with the Cowboys. They should have paid him. Nickel Zuniga, Al Harris. Hey, we're watching the Al Harris effect. It beat the Chicago Bears and it beat the Cowboys. Turnovers. Al Harris coached that well. That's why Dan Quinn wanted him.
Do you see more man-to-man on defense? What are those adjustments going to look like as far as schematically?
Well, that's an.
Now, Brian said, I ain't telling you. Shoot, not Jerry. Don't tell Jerry your secrets.
That's an understandable and pretty easy way to say different is how about a little more man? Well, how about a little more man? I bet you see a little more man.
Boy, this man Jerry. Boy, this man Jerry is a trip, boy. Boy, this man Jerry is a trip. Man, I've been telling y'all this whole season. Boy, this is just so funny to me how they be talking to Jerry Jones like he's like a play caller or something, you know, like he literally in the locker room. Angie said it's Jerry's fault. No other way around it. He signs off on everything. Angie, you know what, though? I'm so conflicted with Jerry. Angie, on the one hand, Jerry and his front office put together a great offense. I got to give it to him. Angie, they put together a great offense. George Pickens, Tyler Booker, Javonte Williams, already had Cooper Beebe. Nate Thomas from last year now is starting to shine. I mean, you know, Jake Ferguson, they signed him, they extended him. I would still like to rather have a more dynamic tight end, Angie, but I get it. But Angie, they put together a great offense. George Pickens is so un-Jerry-like. I mean, un-Jerry recent-like, more like 90s Jerry-like. Put together a great offense. But then on the other hand, Angie, put together a bad defense. Now, we thought they put together a good defense because I thought the linebacking crew the Cowboys got, that's one of the biggest improvements they made. Angie, that doggone linebacking crew is the worst thing they did this offseason. That thing is comical. They missed on defense, Angie. They missed on defense. It's just point blank range. They missed on defense. I think they missed with Matt Eberflus. I can't blame it all on the players. I'm going to blame some of it on the players. Angie, I wonder, would Kyrie Elam be better under a different defensive coordinator? He didn't look this bad in Buffalo. Would Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson be starting under another defensive coordinator, or would it be Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas? All I heard about Matt Eberflus, I really didn't know a lot about him, but all I heard about Matt Eberflus was he was the linebacker whisperer, and those people in Chicago were raving about Sanborn. Sanborn get to Dallas. Psh. He in quicksand. Out of position. A lot of people were questioning them getting Murray. Some people were questioning it and some people were not. But they didn't put together, let's long story short, Jerry put together a fire. Jerry put together a fire offense, him in the front office. And then they put together, man, not even a lukewarm defense. But I got to wonder, is some of that because of whatever this scheme is? I can tell you this. You just heard it from Jerry's mouth. Shoot. No, Jerry just told us it's going to be some changes. Well, hey, you know what? I can't help but applaud that. He said it's going to be some... Well, don't tell Jerry your secrets. Jerry said it's going to be some changes and it's going to be some more man. I love it.
And on the man, you obviously know you give up some things on man. That's why they don't. That's why they play zone. Is because of that. But I think you will see adjustments. When we have adjustments, they have been successful. But it calls for adjustments. The good news is that Flus has had a lot of experience. He's had some good days. He's had some bad days. That's what we're getting here. We're getting a young coach with a lot of future. That all.
He called him Matt Eberflus young. Hold on a second. When I think of a young coach, I'm thinking in 30s. I'm thinking like 30s, maybe early 40s. Hold on a second here. Is he talking about Matt Eberflus being young? Matt Eberflus is 50. I'm 55. I'm not saying it's old, but I don't call that young as far as coaching goes. 55?
So has been through, had a lot of experience, including head coach in the NFL. I have a lot of confidence in him.
What is the difference here between, in 2020, you chose not to retain Mike Nolan after 1 year. Are there differences, similarities to this situation with Eberflus and the way that defense played and the direction that you ultimately ended up making at the end of that season?
Well, the year ain't over yet. I think he's going to be gone at the end of the year unless he makes a huge turnaround. Eberflus going to be gone too.
Well, again, I want to point out you're talking about at the end of the season.
Correct.
With
Exactly.
Mike, and we're just through 6 games here.
Exactly.
So we're really ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
But
too premature to talk
but well, it in a way it is. But I can already tell you, it's different because we had. Eberflus has been here for what, 7 years before he got here. And so we know Eberflus. We know him, Eberflus. And so, Flus. Let's just call it Flus. Don't hang me there. But still, we know him. And then the other thing is that when he wasn't with us, he had.
Anybody seen my video? I hadn't even watched this video, and I said, Jerry Jones hired Matt Eberflus not for the continuity of the team, but for the continuity of the front office. I said it. I said it in the video. Go watch the video. He hired Matt Eberflus for his own continuity. And they stuck Brian Schottenheimer with Matt Eberflus. Now, Schotty, obviously, I don't know if it's obvious, but I think Schotty got some respect for Matt Eberflus. I think Schotty thought it was going to be better than this, but it hasn't been. But see, that's a bad thing to base coaching on. If anything, you would rather have a coach that you have not had, and you want to get somebody that's going to come in here with a whole different philosophy. And again, I think they would have had to spend some money to get a guy like Robert Saleh. But if you are truly serious about getting that defense where you want it, I think you got to make a move like that. But he's confirming it.
The kind of experience that I like to take advantage of. The reason he was available to us is because of his current coaching status, but he's been a head coach and he's been a coordinator with.
Didn't I say that? Dan Quinn, head coach. Mike Zimmer, head coach. Matt Eberflus, head coach. Sometimes, man, we use some of the craziest qualifications.
varying degrees of success. That's when you got somebody with that much background.
Me
and
too,
that
Jay
much to
Recruit. I'm
look
glad
at,
they didn't
then
play
you
Sam
wanna
Williams.
be,
Don't pay him.
Really looking for, I'd say, the good things they do.
What do you?
Longer.
Right. You want to give him a little bit
Longer.
more. Gotcha.
Yeah. You say you know Flus because he was here before, and certainly he was here with the Marinelli Kiffin scheme that he brought back. And
Couldn't
back
stand
then,
Marinelli's
the
scheme.
scheme was criticized for not disguising and being too vanilla, and people know. What do you like about the scheme that you wanted to bring it back?
Well, I like fundamentally. Let's understand that we've got players that have played a lot of a man, and they've actually had success in man. And so we basically made a change 3 years in a row with our defense, with our defensive game. Y'all have written about that very well. Not that that's an.
Whoa. Whoa. Jerry said, we've been successful in man. We got players. Y'all do know Jerry is saying the same thing that we're saying, right? So obviously they went and communicated this to Matt Eberflus. We're going to see what this is this week. And Jerry's even saying, hey, y'all wrote about it. You've written about it and you've done a good job. We got Bland, man-to-man, he's better. Trayvon Diggs, he was good in man-to-man. We'll see what happens with Kyrie Elam. Ready. We'll see what happens with the safeties. Okay, Jerry, I hear you.
Excuse, but that shows there are things about each one of those that you want to incorporate with some of these very players. And I can tell you firsthand, players get better when they have some changes. They get better as they play in the scheme. Some form of those kinds of changes, not necessarily a declaration of going from white to black at all, red to blue. The real difference is nuances that go in there, or maybe
compromise
positions. In other words, when it's called or when it's not called.
Compromise.
Those are adjustments that you'd expect a coach, expect your defense to be making all the time.
He's saying situational football, Jerry. Say it. That's all he's saying. Situational football. That's what he's saying. Hey, man. Maybe on this down and distance we go man to man. Maybe in this situation we go man to man. Maybe in this situation we send 6 rather than 4. Matt Eberflus, man, I'm telling you. Now Matt Eberflus gonna have to make make a decision, because the Cowboys are basically asking him to change his entire philosophy. Lisa Worley, this is kind of what you're talking about too. Lisa said, when we play a team and what we are doing ain't working and they beat us, then we need to change what we're doing, and we're not doing it. We're not adapting to the way teams play. Yeah, Lisa, yeah, we're not making adjustments. We're doing a terrible job of in-game adjustments. You say you're going to be multiple? You haven't shown it. You haven't shown it yet. But I tell you what's even funnier, man. You could tell them. You could tell Jerry need dudes. Boy, you could tell Jerry need dudes. I mean, Jerry be sitting right in there with these dudes watching film, listening to him talk, and then he come out here and start talking at Jerry come out here. Then Jerry roll right up in his press and start talking about the stuff he done heard. Talking about stuff he done heard in the discussion. Shoot, Jerry. Boy, this man Jerry, boy, is a trip. But he ain't lying.
In 2018, your offense was struggling midway through the season. You made an Amari Cooper trade and jump-started thing. Do you need an Amari Cooper-like trade for your defense?
Well, if there is a trade that would help the defense, we're in position to make that trade.
Trades, bro.
I want to remind everybody that I've said it earlier today. One of the great things about our trade that we had with Green Bay is that our tackle makes about $22 million a year, where he costs us $2. And so we're getting a 20-something million dollar a year player for $2 million right now. And he's playing about as well as anybody on defense. Why do I bring that up? That alone has increased our flexibility of being able to look at potential trades right now, whereas you might have had hand cramps before. So we're in position to look at a trade. That doesn't mean we're going to make one,
bro.
but we certainly had in mind when we started this season that we were going to have ammo to be more flexible
Yeah, I see
in
you on that,
terms
Bass.
of what we do with the roster as we move along this year and, of course, as we get into the next couple of years.
Does it make it tricky with the timing? In other words, trade deadline's coming up in 3 weeks. You're getting back some of these other players on defense here the next couple of weeks. How do you really assess what this defense looks like or whether you want to give up trade capital too soon? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense, and that is their job. And it does add to try to speculate on how Overshawn is going to impact this defense. Is speculation at best.
They're banking on
and
him.
The same thing with Ravel. We hear about he's doing things out here that are just amazing. But he hasn't played in the NFL, and you know that's going to cost you someplace if he's on the field. So that's the part of the nuances that you have to work through. We will weigh what are the likelihood of the players that we've got coming back, how they will impact where that'll put this team, as opposed if we should add a player in a trade. And I don't have a trade in mind right now at all. And you,
exactly.
That
Who would
comes
it be?
about right now if someone is on the phone calling.
Speaking of Overshawn, when do you expect him back? What's the timeline right now?
Well, I think we ask that question every time we have a personnel meeting and talk about rehab. But I think it's I'd be looking at after the bye.
Jerry, George Pickens on pace for career highs and everything. From our perspective, it almost looks like he's been everything you guys would have hoped for. Are you open to starting extension conversations with him right now?
Well, again, I don't want to sit here and, as you know, that even has a competition to it.
Boss Cowboy, yeah, I don't agree with you on that part. I don't disagree with you on that part.
More than
because they definitely gonna run him into the ground
we did
at the rate they're going,
or that we could have expected.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part.
What's really special is he's a real plus to have around the team. He's a real plus around his teammates. He's a great plus around those coaches.
Yeah.
And those coaches
I see that
really
part
think
too.
highly of him. And he's not only doing it on the field, he's doing it as a part of the team concept. That's very important, and in his particular case should be noted. But we'll weigh that. We knew full well that if things really went like we want them to go, that certainly we need to think about having some room available if we're going to pay a second receiver at that level.
As down as you were Sunday,
$30 million. I believe George Pickens is going to get paid $30 million. $30 million. $30 million, George Pickens. $30 million. You watch what I tell you. $31 million. But I think he's worth it.
Did last night's Washington loss uplift you a little bit that we're still in this thing?
It just reminded me that we are still in it. And it reminded me that that was eerily similar to the way we got beat. And they came down and they were able to execute, get the ball, and get the kick. And but for you should give me the chance to have our offense with the ball down there Sunday where we had it. And I like our odds of winning that game. And it was right down to that right now. They did not surprise us on running that ball against us like that. That was a suspect. And we'd like to have a mulligan. And we'll get some, but still.
Jerry, you don't want... Boy, Jerry, boy, you better stop. Boy, you know, doggo. Boy, you know doggone well y'all don't want no more Rico Dowdle, boy. Shoot, that boy Rico Dowdle, man. That boy Rico Dowdle was running with purpose, man. That boy Rico Dowdle has been running with purpose, man. Shoot. Jerry, you better calm down, boy. Y'all don't want no more Rico Dowdle, man.
I see so much parity, and then you factor in that these teams get compromised with injury. And we
Everybody
can have and may. But if we should have some good go of it here over the next weeks ahead with our injury situation and return of injury, and we can get some wins, then this thing with Dak playing the way he's playing and with the way some of the guys have played that are playing with these guys out right now, I'm encouraged. The last thing that I'm thinking about is in any way being out of the hunt.
We got time for one more.
Why do you think Dak is playing so well?
Oh, I think Dak is a heck of a quarterback, and I saw a well-done article today with Kalashov and in the morning news, and he was talking about the Tony Romo years and comparing that with the Dak years, and he's absolutely right. All of them were there at times right around that rim, and one of the things that I probably have a sense of just remorse that we didn't, when those guys were playing quarterback like that, to get one or get a chance to get a Super Bowl. Mistake. You don't think that I didn't jump up a lot of mornings in those years that we've had Dak or we had Romo when they were ready to play and say, let's get a Super Bowl, and it'd be done. I didn't say let's don't, for instance, I'm being tongue-in-cheek, but it wasn't a mistake. What I regret is that we haven't been able to get it done. We have been around the rim a lot. I've got to say this. If you'll look at their winning percentages over the 10 years that each quarterback here, 10 or 11 years, you look at those winning percentages on those teams, and it's probably 5th, 6th best winning percentages in the NFL. Now, I know you're going to say those playoffs are at the bottom, and so obviously are the Super Bowls. And I don't hang my hat on having teams that are playing well enough to have a shot at it. I think this team has a shot.
All right.
I think some of those teams did.
You know what? I'm going to disagree with them. I'm just going to disagree with them on this thing with Dak Prescott and Tony Romo. I'm just disagreeing 100%. Tony Romo. I've said it before, and people do not understand Tony Romo, man. Things came so they came so easy for Tony Romo. Tony Romo never put in the kind of work Dak Prescott put in. Never. Tony Romo would be done with the football season and go start playing golf because Tony Romo was that good of an athlete, like multiple sports. Tony Romo, never the leader Dak Prescott was. Never the leader. They are not the same. They just are not the same. But what I will agree that is the same as it applies to Tony Romo and Dak Prescott is that in some of their best years, you think about 2014, the Green Bay Packers knocked off the Cowboys in 2014 with Tony Romo, and I think that was the catch year. If Tony Romo wasn't injured, Tony Romo never had the defense either. Tony Romo never had the defense. They never gave him the, and I think they never gave Dez Bryant the complimentary receiver that he needed. They never gave him that. I mean, CeeDee Lamb ought to really feel blessed, and I know Dak feels blessed because, man, this wide receiver duo that Dak Prescott has right now, I mean, I don't think anyone has had one better since Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman. Roger Staubach with Drew Pearson and Tony Hill, Troy Aikman with Michael Irvin. Other guy slips, wide receiver slips my mind. But when you look at the wide receiver duos, man, it's a championship level wide receiver duo. Jerry's got to do something about this defense. Because if not, he's literally wasting a Super Bowl opportunity with one Dak Prescott in this offense. Y'all hold on just a second. Yo, G, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless Yeah, I don't think Romy Rome was ever the kind of quarterback that Dak Prescott is. Dak Prescott is a leader, a worker. I mean, he's just totally different than Tony Romo. But I can get with the fact that the Cowboys wasted some really good years with Tony Romo. Defensively, the defense, they've just never, to me, been able to get defense right. That's the one thing Jerry has not been able to get right. Jimmy got defense right. Jerry didn't. Jerry has not been able to get defense right. And I think that's the biggest difference as it pertains with Tony Romo and Dak Prescott. But I don't really like the Tony Romo, Dak Prescott comparisons because I just think they're just two different quarterbacks. They're two different quarterbacks. And Tony Romo, man, I like, don't get me wrong, I like Tony. I like Tony. But he's just not the quarterback that Dak Prescott is. He's just not the quarterback that Dak is. Dak right now is on a whole nother level. All right, let's go over here to 105.3 The Fan. I'm always interested to hear what Brian Broaders has to say about the Dallas Cowboys. And then we're gonna let's see how much time we got. Because I want to get into this NFC East discussion. Let me see what we got. Offensive blame. Okay, we'll probably make all three of those into one. We'll add all three of those. Let's see. Where are we at? All right. Brian Broaders. All right, and let me comment. Yeah, Boss Cowboy, I already mentioned this. I shouted you out on this early. Yeah, Jaden Blue don't fit what Brian wants to do. But I do think that Brian needs to make some changes on this because you say you want to be multiple. Well, be multiple with Jaden Blue. You can't run Jaden Blue the way you run Javonte Williams. I agree. I think you made a great point on this. Brian wants a physical, bruising running back. That's what he wants. Yeah, you're right. If you check the history, that's what he wants. He wants to be in between those tackles, eating teams up in the middle. But the problem is, and Boss, I know you definitely saw this on Sunday. Michael Irvin talked about it. The alignment of the Carolina defensive line told Brian Schottenheimer every which way but loose, bro, you're not running today. No, you're not running like you've been running out with all these in all these other games. We're not going to let you get between the tackles. We're not going to let you do it. You're going anywhere but up this middle. They told Brian that, and Brian refused to listen. And they did a number on Brian in the run game. Thank God. I'm telling you, man, thankfully he got Dak Prescott. But I still say he didn't go enough to George Pickens. They had no answer for George Pickens. They should have let George Pickens go ahead and have a 200-yard day. Sam Torres, I appreciate you. He said he loved the show. No gimmicks, no rah-rah, just real substantive analysts and eye-opening checks. Love it. Thank you. Appreciate you, my brother. Welcome to the congregation. Boss Cowboy, I agree. He said, I say if you don't want mayonnaise on my burger, don't put that on my burger. Blue is mayonnaise. Brian likes ketchup. Boss Cowboy, I mentioned this earlier when I talked about you, that this is another one of those situations to where they went and got a player that the coach didn't necessarily want. Jaden Blue is a front office pick, and that's Will McClay. I think Will McClay wanted Jaden Blue. Brian Schottenheimer, I said this last week, boss. he pinpointed Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams was all Brian. He wanted him in here and he got him. He wanted him in here and he got him. And he's doing well. But my fear is they're going to run him in the ground. They're going to run him in the ground. Angie said they could have paid Michael last year. Yeah, but they weren't going to pay him last year because they had to pay, wasn't CeeDee Lamb last year? Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, they were not going to pay him before. They were not going to pay him before those two players. They were not going to do it. But again, Angie, I think they were going to pay him this year. Jerry and Michael both just got to doing a little too much talking. They just got to do a little too much talking, a little too personal, and everything went haywire. Poopy D said they made. He said they manhandled everybody, G. Talking about the Carolina Panthers. Poopy D said he's not better. There's not a player on the team that's better. The point is there's not a pass rusher on the team better than Micah Parsons. That's not the point. There's not a pass rusher on the team better than Micah Parsons. But me, I'm not paying him $47 million. I'm not paying him. Now, Angie the Rebel Chicks, if you go back and look at some of the tape, well, they're double teaming Kenny Clark right now. They're double teaming Kenny Clark. And even when Michael was here, if you go back and check the tape, we were not just rushing 4 all the time. We were rushing Michael Parsons and sending people sometimes from different situations because we heard the same thing about Mike Zimmer. They said Mike Zimmer he likes to rush 4, drop 7. He don't like the blitz. What did Mike Zimmer do when he figured out that the Cowboys couldn't even get there consistently, even with Michael Parsons, especially when DeMarcus Lawrence went out? What did he start doing? He started blitzing. He started sending more than 4. Now, if the Cowboys with their current pass rushers, if they would send an extra rusher, the pass rush would be better. Jerry even mentioned this. Jerry said when we make adjustments, they work. The problem is they make them far and in between. The New York Giants game, why did they wait until the end of the game to start blitzing Russell Wilson? Why did the Cowboys not open up the game against the Carolina Panthers blitzing? Why did they not do some of the things they did against the New York Jets? The Carolina Panthers, they allowed the Carolina Panthers to dictate to them what they were going to do and made no adjustments. We even made adjustments with Michael Parsons. 2 things can be true. Michael Parsons, not that he's not great, but he would not make this defense any better. They need more than one player. They absolutely need more than one player. And if I'm the Cowboys, I still say edge is not their problem. Edge is not their problem. Their problem is they have a coach that is reluctant to send more than 4. You are not built, even with Michael Parsons here. They were not built to rush 4 and drop 7. They were not built like that even with Micah. That's Matt Eberflus's problem. He don't want to do anything else. And again, I'm just going to keep disputing. Like I said, I'm just going to keep pushing back with the same thing about Michael Parsons in Green Bay. Tell me what he's doing in Green Bay. Because according to everybody, they ought to be undefeated because he's on a defense that's way better than the Dallas Cowboys, and he don't look a whole lot different. Tell me he does. Show it to me. He don't look a whole lot different. He don't look a whole lot different, and it's not making as big of a difference as they thought it was going to make. Man, y'all better check out y'all better check out what some of them doggone Green Bay fan base is saying. Some of them Green Bay beat writers are saying. We think it's just the Cowboys be saying this stuff. Shoot. Some of these Green Bay people been saying the same thing. They thought Michael was going to come in and wreck shop. He's been doing good, but he ain't been doing what everybody thought he was going to do. Just telling you. 2 things can be true. That's not talking down on them. That's telling the truth. Michael Parsons ain't the problem. Trust me, he ain't the problem.
kids. Your old pal Krusty's gonna teach you 5 new words.
You're not wrong about that.
Shoot, superstar status.
Thank you to
I
my
think we're going to have a
teammates.
50-point
Thank you,
game.
Reliant, for being a part of this one as always. A lot to get into the film. I'll start with the offense if I could today. And I'll start with the why Dallas had the inability to run the football in this game. We'll get to the defense, but I'll start with this offense first because
Let's see if he said what Michael Irvin said.
I felt like, though, going into this game, there might be some opportunity on the outside to run this ball.
What did I say when I talked about what the Cowboys should do against the Carolina Panthers with Jaden Blue? What did I say? Get Jaden Blue on the edges. Get him on the edges. Brian Broaddus just said he thought there were opportunities to run the ball on the edges. Brian Schottenheimer don't want to run on the edges. And that's a fact. He don't want to run on the edges. He wants to have a power run game. Brian, if you're going to be multiple, be multiple. If you don't start showing teams that you can run on the edge and run on the middle, where they're going to do exactly what Carolina did, and they're going to take away the middle, and Javonte Williams is not an edge running back. He's not. He's not a cutback running back. That's not his style. If that's what you're going to do, then every team from this point forward, they're going to stop you. Brian Broaddus opens it up with the offense. Same thing I said. They should have been trying to more intently get Jaden Blue instead of giving him a couple of runs and talking about, see, we gave him 3 runs. Stop it. Stop it. Them weren't even designed. That's just a bunch of junk they've been throwing out there with Jaden Blue.
And I kind of felt like that there were going to be ways that Dallas could control these inside 3 and then work that off the edge and be able to do that. They just never were able to do that. And I think the number one reason, Zach, did you look at the tape this one? Did you get to see it?
Yes.
All right. So just chime in if you feel free. But the number one reason why Dallas offense, especially running the football, is about movement. It's about down blocks. It's combo blocks. It's about pulling. It's about the lineman pulling. It's about the tight end pulling. It's about the fullback pulling. You know, when they play, how they play Hunter Lipke. In this game, Carolina destroyed those opportunities for you. The way that they played with penetration in this game, it was with Robinson. It was also Derek Brown. Bobby Brown was another factor in this thing, number 97. And what happens is Dallas, their game is based on that ability to get push front side, whether it's their tight ends or their tackle guard combination to get push, and then allow the pullers to get around, either kick out or to log or to do what they need to do in order to create space. Carolina didn't let them do that. Carolina, and maybe it had a little bit to do, Dawson, with what happened with Tyler Smith and working with Hoffman. Continuity with your offensive line. And you're thinking like, okay, if you're Tyler Smith, you're like, if I have to combo with somebody and I work with, say I'm working with the center, in this case Hoffman, and I just bump that guy to the center, and then I'm up on the second level, where there were a couple times where he shoved his guy to Hoffman and Hoffman couldn't handle it. Hoffman couldn't get head in front. Hoffman was like almost playing what we call half man, like he was trying to get across. He couldn't make it. Robinson a couple of times was able to fight him off and then be right there for the.
Carolina got some good players in the trenches too. Phew. Them dudes wasn't no joke. They were down in that thing scrapping, boy. They out physical the Cowboys. They was scrapping, man. They was scrapping on the Cowboys. And again, making a good point too. We were playing with 2 two backup linemen, which I still think that those guys could probably start for somewhere else. But shoot, Carolina got some good interior defensive linemen.
Tackle. But the big thing to me was they were able not to get that push, but the pullers with the penetration. Because there were times when they'd pull Smith going left to right, trying to get the edge. They have Hunter Lipke behind, maybe helping to be part of the pull. And Smith gets picked off by a penetrating lineman. So now it's Smith gets picked off. They can't get Hunter Lipke up to get a block. So now you have free defenders on the front side of the offense. And that was a big problem in this game. One of the biggest reasons why Dallas could not run. The continuity between the offensive linemen, the tight ends, the pullers, and like Hunter Lipke was big in this game. There were a couple of times, too, where they had blocks made and Williams didn't read it the right way.
I noticed that at least once or twice.
Yeah. They ran a play down on the goal line, tight red zone, where they had everything like we were talking about. Everything got sealed, and Dak handed him the ball, and he, instead of pressing front side and trying to get the 4 or 5 yards and get down closer to the goal line, he tried to bounce the ball back. He didn't trust what he saw or didn't see it front side, which he has the majority of the year. He didn't trust it, tried to go backside, and they didn't have things secured at all, -2 on the
It was
run.
amazing the Cowboys were able to score 27 despite all that going wrong, but it played a huge impact in the game because by the time you got to 4 minutes or 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Carolina did not respect your run game at all.
No.
Yeah,
and they're
not at
sitting
all.
back playing so soft that, like, I think Dak decided my only option is the check downs on those last 2 throws. Like, you couldn't like look down there and see your 2 receivers against 6 or 7 guys back and find an open target. So you would think, okay, Short's got to be open. I mean, and Short was suffocated.
Yeah, they did a really good job of the short stuff when it did happen. Me personally, that last series, I'm still wearing them out with Pickens.
I think you're so right
They
about
did
this.
not. The protection overall.
Did I not say the same thing? Did I not say the same thing on that last drive? I don't care if they intercept the ball. They had no answer for George Pickens. I would have went to George Pickens three straight times. And this is where Dak has got to get better, and so does Brian Schottenheimer. If CeeDee Lamb is in the game, I guarantee you they would have went to CeeDee Lamb. I guarantee you they would have went to CeeDee. They would have went to CeeDee Lamb. Man, they got to put some respect on George Pickens' name. They should have fed George Pickens on that last drive. And how do you not feed your best player? How do you not feed your best player? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I thought was really good. Dak had more time to throw this ball this week than any other game he's had this year. And they really did in that final drive. It's just unfortunate. Shotty tried to throw the throwback, maybe make something happen. It's just unfortunate. They had the 2 negative plays. But, man, to me, George Pickens, whether it was zone coverage, man coverage, and Carolina played a lot of man coverage in this game for them. They
Michael
flipped
H.
the script a little bit. They said, okay, we're going to play a little bit. But Pickens was wearing them out in that coverage. And I'm really surprised
had no answer.
that maybe in that situation that Dak, they needed to make probably 3 more throws to George Pickens
I said
in that
the same
game.
thing.
And they would have won, or they would have, well, put it this way, they would have made it a 4-point game and then make the Panthers have to drive. Your hope is, your hope there is that, if you get a score, maybe not leave them enough time, but you're probably, we're going to give them a touchdown. But it's a touchdown. It's not a field goal situation. So that's really unfortunate right there. The protection in this game was where it needed to be. And they just didn't. That last sequence, I think, killed him in this game offensively.
Thursday, Clayton Adams at his presser was asked about how good the running game had been and if they were executing his vision. And he talked for about 45 seconds about how there's lots of inconsistencies and they're not taking these stats as confirmation. I think those things showed up in a big way.
It did. There was a lot of whiffs, a lot of trailers on the backside. Like even if Tyler Smith did get the pull and it was clean, like I don't know if it was Bass ends up missing and then somebody comes in and chases the play down on the backside.
Well, they had a couple of times there too where
great point, Pride Coach 81.
Guyton is pushing hard to the front side. He's stepping front side, and his responsibility is to step front side and then hinge back. And then they had runners. They had runners from the backside that were a couple of different times that ran the play down. So unfortunate though that I think throwing the football that latter part of the game would have been the best thing. The running game was non-existent, but because the way Carolina was playing the front.
It looked like you showed up and just kind of mailed it in a lot of times with the blocking, like whether it's screens or in the run game. Like the play is finishing up and Carolina's playing with their hair on fire to get to the ball carrier and wrap him up. And like blockers are standing around, kind of like that play that involved Tolbert very early in the season that we got so frustrated with. Like the play's live and you don't know who to block. You're not looking hard enough for players to block. It was really disheartening, but I thought for the first time, like, maybe the effort wasn't there or, being as aggressive and locked in as you need to be.
On the flip side of this,
now, this has got me wondering. The Cowboys played the Chicago Bears. If I'm not mistaken, y'all think about this because I'd mentioned this. I wonder if the Cowboys playing the Chicago Bears, because look at this. Notice how this game fell. The Cowboys played the Chicago Bears right before the Green Bay Packers at home. And I had mentioned, I wonder if the Cowboys kind of overlooked the Bears because they were looking so forward to the Packers. They put up 40 points on the Packers. I'm sure the Packers are better than the Bears. Now, CeeDee Lamb did go down in the game. That made a huge difference. Javonte Williams fumbles on that first drive. But when you even look at some of the effort, they had a 19-play drive. A 19-play drive with the Chicago Bears. They score 40 points on the Packers. They score 37 on the Jets. So they got the Commanders coming up October the 19th. And even Jerry alluded to, Carolina's one of those teams that they were too formidable for us to look over. But maybe he's alluding to, they looked over them like they thought they were just going to go in Carolina, beat Carolina, and then get hyped up for the Commanders. Mike McCarthy struggled with some of these same things. He couldn't get this team up week to week. And I said this is one of the tests for Mike McCarthy. For Brian Schottenheimer. Can he get the team up on a consistent basis? And it seems like what we've seen so far, the Cowboys, way up for the Eagles. The Giants seem to be somewhat up for the Giants. It was the first home game. I think they wanted to get that home game win. Chicago Bears, they seemed a little flat to me. Green Bay Packers, they were up. New York Jets, they were up. Rico Dowdle talked all kinds of noise. Carolina Panthers, they didn't even, and don't let me take anything away from the Panthers. Poobie D said it right. Shoot, Panthers whooped them boys. I'm not going to take it away from the Panthers. They whooped them too. Some of it, they might have whooped them into submission. But nevertheless, they were getting tore up on that field, man. I just can't see. Some of that just seems to be effort too. Some of that just seems to be effort.
The Cowboys defense. Zach, again, if there's something you see, feel free. By the way, I've designated Javion Clowney as the 53rd player on my roster.
Yeah, he is.
If you have to make, if we have to make a move here for potentially to add somebody to the roster.
He's your first gone.
You're not getting anything from him.
He's my 53rd player right now, is what I would
Understandable.
say.
Not me.
We'll see what they would do with Mozzie Smith or something like that. They might do something with Mozzie. The fact that he was back to being inactive this week.
I mean, when they got interested, I looked him up. He looked washed up last year for the final month of the season.
Yeah, he's really not doing very much for you. That I think that not affecting the game in a good way.
Now, I've seen film on Jadeveon Clowney, and other people are saying some people are doing film on Jadeveon Clowney, and they're saying otherwise.
Carolina had a really good plan as far as running the football, and what they did was they took advantage of your 3 techniques, is what they did by double teaming them. So what they did was they created space by pushing your 3, blocking your 1. They weren't concerned with Kenny Clark, and they weren't concerned with Jay Toia at all. They single blocked those guys, and they pushed, whether it was Oso Digizua, they were pushing Solomon Thomas. Whoever was the 3 was getting pushed, and that's where they were going to take the football. They did a really nice job with that. Dallas had a couple of opportunities. They tried some run fits when it came to, or I should say not run fits, but run blitzes, where they angled, like they were trying to angle Sam Williams down a couple of times and then see if they could play off getting inside and then having somebody over the top. The problem was when they were angling, whether it was Fowler or Williams, there was nobody getting over the top. This was a struggling game for Murray. They struggled with, I think, Shamar James. The numbers say that, but once again, it's tackles of him running to the ball and just making a tackle, but things that were at him were a problem. They had Damone Clark on the field for one particular run. They gave up yardage in that one. It didn't matter what combination or what run. They tried to even load the box, and when they loaded the box, there was averaging almost 7 yards a carry. Now, there was some times, too, where the defenders were just completely out of position. I mentioned Murray. I mentioned also James was out of position, and then Maris Leofau. They had some bad fits in the secondary when he was trying to help. Your best run defender in the secondary was Reedy Stewart.
Yeah, he had one really good player along the goal line in the first half.
Stewart is one of these guys, the closer they line him up to the slot and into the line of scrimmage, he is going to try and make a play. And he was able to do that a couple of different times. So,
it's just frustrating. I'm very impressed with how small he is, that he can be that physical.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be relying on your slot corner to make that many plays.
No.
It's awesome. It's very maddening.
Yeah.
I thought Dono had one. Dono had one good play.
Yeah.
And maybe if you replace like that first play of the game with Wanye, maybe Donovan Wilson makes that tackle and it doesn't go for 9 and it's at the line of scrimmage.
I thought that was a pretty good example of like Flus actually calling first play of the game, calling something right. And they get a free runner and they miss the play and it ends up being a 9-yard run. That's kind of how this defense plays.
Do you feel like maybe they're missing Malik Hooker?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think what the biggest problem to me is when they are playing, they're playing coverage. I just don't think that you could put Donovan Wilson in any kind of coverage situation and expect anything good to happen from it. I don't know how you could sit there and say, okay, let's put him one-on-one. And even what happened down to the second, I mentioned the second Ted McMillan touchdown, that why is Diggs waving him off so he can cover a tight end, and he's putting Wilson in a situation where Wilson's having to play the receiver. That to me doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense in how you play that.
I think the big one's the 4th and 3, and I know we got asked about that a lot with Bland playing off. But I think when you go back and watch it, and
they were trying to they were trying to buzz the linebacker. I
think it was actually a pretty good call.
Yeah,
Flus there.
I think Flus knew what they were going to do, where they were going to throw the ball. He just had a defender once again. We've seen this cover 2, that Tampa 2, where they run the Mike linebacker through the middle of the field into the deep part of the defense. And they don't get there then.
Yep. We covered that play. Might have been a good play, but he's just too slow to get there. I mean, he's just too slow. He's just too slow to get there. And again, you know, they got another article here. Let's listen to some of that. They're asking, you know, is the offense to blame for some of this because they didn't score?
Let's set forth the idea that we can all agree that the defense was horrid yesterday. Just absolutely terrible. All right.
So if anybody comes into this segment late, y'all tell them, hey, this is a specific discussion about something else.
We all agree the defense was terrible, but how much, if any, blame falls on the Cowboys offense for their final 6 plays? And here's why I include the final 6, because I certainly understand how everyone is focused on that final series and the final 3 plays. I want to focus on the final 6 because you're down 27-24 and you're 1st and goal at the Carolina 8. Now, these next 3 plays would lead to a field goal, and that's all fine and well. And I don't want to pretend like maybe the Cowboys would have taken a 31-27 lead. Carolina would have done the exact same thing, except they wouldn't have wasted time and they would have scored a touchdown. I can't dispute that. That very well could have happened, but the Cowboys certainly didn't help themselves. So on the final 6 plays, how many yards do you think the Cowboys gained?
7.
-9. On their actually, I guess on their final 6 plays, they had a positive gain on 1 of them. It started off 1st and goal, and you have the fumble, snap, catastrophe that turns out to do nothing but waste it down and move you back a yard. All right. 2nd and goal at the 9. You get the pass that's short to George Pickens. Why is that relevant? Because on your final 6 plays, that was the only time you targeted George Pickens. And I realize...
Yeah, that wasn't smart.
No. And I realize if we go to the next series, your offensive line did no favors to giving you the time to try to get the ball to him. But on a day where George Pickens seemed like he could do pretty much whatever he wanted, prior to that pass, he'd been targeted 10 times and caught 9 of them for 168 yards. All right. So if you're ever going to force the ball to somebody, now maybe feels like the time. So you have the incomplete pass there, and then you have the incomplete pass to Javonte Williams, which again felt like a give up pass that we're going to talk about in that next series as well.
Yep.
So you get 3 plays right there, and you do nothing, man. Like nothing. And you lose a yard, kick a field goal, game's tied. Then the unbelievable, biggest miracle of the day yesterday, you force a 3-and-out. Now, did Carolina shoot themselves in the foot with penalties? Yes, but don't worry about that. You force a 3-and-out. It's 27-27. There's 8:18 left to go. For the first time, maybe in the entire game, the defense has been like, hey, we want to participate. And now the offense has the ball. And man, oh man, did they S the bed.
Yes. And this is the second time now, as I was talking about with the Packers game. Schottenheimer explained how that 3rd down was affected in overtime.
And why they didn't go for it.
Bad play. They didn't go for him 4th because, hey, I got beat once. And he said the same thing about this drive, that it was covered. You got to give the Panthers credit for the work that they did, making sure that we didn't have the play. And that's scary to me, honestly. We don't have anything that can work in these situations. This is the time you have to have your
Brian Schottenheimer, I said it. Sometimes he get a little too cute. Anthony Thompson, appreciate that super chat. Yes, sir. $19.99, appreciate it. Shotty get a little too cute. Yeah, I want to move on to the NFC. But, yeah, that was very poor play calling there towards the end for the Cowboys. They had no answer for George Pickens, and I have no clue why Brian Schottenheimer doesn't dial up something for George Pickens. Doesn't dial up something for George Pickens. But I bet you had CeeDee Lamb been in the game, they'd have dialed up something for CeeDee Lamb. So I'm glad that CeeDee Lamb will be back. I hope he's not coming back too early. I'm glad he's going to be back, but I hope that doesn't subtract from the chemistry that Dak Prescott and George Pickens have built up, and I hope that he can trust George Pickens even with CeeDee Lamb back. All right. I want to talk about the NFC East. The Chicago Bears. I have got to give them credit. When I tell you the Chicago Bears battled the Washington Commanders to the very last second trying to get that win. That's the Ben Johnson effect. Man, Ben Johnson is a 10 times better coach than Matt Eberflus. This dude, Ben Johnson, demands perfection. He demands execution. And I'm telling you, man, he is a very aggressive coach. Very aggressive. I love the way he calls plays. I love the way he coaches. When you look at the box score in this game, it was incredible. 381 total yards, 329. I mean, everything was pretty much even, except for one thing. 2 fumbles and an interception. Al Harris got those doggone defensive backs for the Chicago Bears playing extremely well. Chicago looked good, man. I mean, them beating us, it don't look like it was a fluke. They look good. They look good. You think about this, the Commanders, they only had 5 penalties for 40 yards. They had 31-34 time possession. Jaden Daniels looked extremely good running the ball. Turnovers. Takeaways was the difference in the game. Takeaways were the difference in the game. 2 fumbles, 1 interception. All 3 of them forced by the Chicago Bears. I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely shocked when the Chicago Bears pulled this out. I was shocked. I said, somebody must love the Cowboys. Let me tell you what has just happened for the Dallas Cowboys that makes this so incredible. Let me show you the matchups for Week 7. For Week 7, it's going to be a very good game between the Eagles and the Vikings. The Eagles could very well drop another game. Got a feeling they're going to beat the Vikings, but I think it's going to be a very good game. The Giants are going to Mile High Stadium, Denver Broncos. I got a strange feeling that they're going to put a stop to Jackson Dart and Scatterboo. And the Commanders are coming to Dallas. After watching that Chicago Bears game, I don't see any way they stop Dak Prescott in this offense. I don't see any way they do it. It will have to be a shootout. The Washington Commanders are going to have to put up points to beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys are going to run all through their defense, through the air, on the ground. The Cowboys should have a field day on the Washington Commanders. And when you look at the standings, man, this is incredible. The Eagles, 4-2. They're either going to be 4-3, 5-2. Let's just say they're 5-2. The Cowboys, if they beat the Commanders, that tie the Cowboys got with the Green Bay Packers, I told you before, we're going to see how it turns out by the end of the season. It's either going to help us or hurt us. But if we wind up with 3 wins, of course, we move to second place because we will have that tie. And I think that tie may help us the entire season. Because the one thing the Cowboys have to really focus on, one game at a time, of course. The Cowboys have lost some very important games. The Cowboys have lost to the Chicago Bears. They've lost to the Carolina Panthers. losing to both of those teams, if the Cowboys find themselves somewhere tied up down there towards the end for the wild card, those two teams would knock the Cowboys out because they would win the head-to-head battle. The key for the Cowboys to get a very good seed in the playoffs is to win the NFC. Because it don't matter as long as you win your division. Teams can have better records than you as long as you win your division. You're going to be either the first, second, third, or fourth seed. The Cowboys have got to win the NFC, and I think they can win it. The Cowboys have the best offense and the worst defense. If they can just get Matt Eberflus, man, I said 20. Can he get him to 28 or 27? Can he get him to 26? I'm not even shooting for 20 no more. I said 20. Man, I'm not even shooting for 20. Can Matt Eberflus and the Dallas Cowboys get this thing to 27? 27, 26, 25. They can get it to there. They can get to the playoffs easy. I believe the Cowboys probably have about 4 or 5 more 40-point games in them. Probably going to have a couple of more 30-point games, if not 3 or 4. And they're going to have some high 20-point games. Book it. The Cowboys are going to be scoring points this year at an insane rate. And if the Cowboys can get to the playoffs, Dak Prescott's probably going to win the MVP. Dak Prescott is probably going to win the MVP. I'm sure he's not concerned about that. I would like for him to win it. I don't think Dak's worried about that. But I do think that if the Cowboys can get this defense just not fixed, can they just make it better? If they can just make this defense a little bit better, they're going to be able to win some games. A lot of people are saying now the Cowboys have an 8% chance to go to the playoffs. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I think they can still, if they'll get their act together, the Cowboys, because of the parity in this league, man, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what the league did with the schedule this year. Man, it's anybody's division. It's almost anybody's division everywhere you turn. The NFC East is very, very winnable by the Cowboys. I think they can win it. I absolutely believe that the Cowboys can win the NFC East. I'm telling you, man, the Bears gifted them. The Bears gifted them. And the Commanders, I just don't see anything about the Commanders the Cowboys should be afraid of. We've seen how the Cowboys, they seem to be playing pretty good at home. The offense especially seems to be playing very well at home. We've seen them put up 42 times at home. 40 against the Giants, 40 against the Packers. I don't see how this is going to be any different. I can see the Cowboys putting up 40 points. We're going to be talking about this more as we get to talking about it this week. But I'm telling us, man, Cowboys got a great chance. They do. Mr. 2-5, this is kind of where I am with this, man. It's a combination. It's effort, it's play calling, scheme, it's bad play by them. It's so. I think a big part of this is they just don't believe in. I think they believe in Shotty. I just don't think they believe in Matt Eberflus. I don't. I just don't think they believe in Matt Eberflus. I think it would do the Cowboys better if Matt Eberflus, and if I'm not mistaken, he is up there in the box. Matt Eberflus, I just don't think they believe in him. Yeah, that 70s fan show. He said that's why Jaden Blue was so slow at getting on the field. Brian doesn't want that type on the field. He wants a power run game. But 70s fan show, Brian better understand something. Your first few games, especially your first one, nobody had tape on you. Brian, Carolina showed you they had tape on you. That's all Carolina showed him. Bro, we got tape on you. We know how you want to run. We know your style of running. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take it from you. Because I'm going to tell you this. Sometimes we got to be thinking. Or as good as Clayton Adams' run game was with the Arizona Cardinals, I don't remember seeing Arizona Cardinals in the playoffs. I definitely don't remember seeing them deep in the playoffs. I don't remember seeing the Arizona Cardinals last year. Y'all do know teams do figure out some of this stuff. Carolina did some good film research on the Cowboys. And they took away what Brian Schottenheimer wants to do. Okay, Brian, you said you're going to be multiple. Then you got to come into a game understanding somebody's going to try to take something away from you. What's your answer when they take it away? What's your answer? What's your answer? You got to have an answer when someone takes something away. Michael H. said in those situations you agree, target Pickens. But if not for the game winner, I don't want Dak force-feeding GP like I don't want him force-feeding CD. Michael, they had no answer for him, though. They had no answer for George Pickens. None. We just went away from him trying to be cute. Trying to be cute. We them boys, he said, just play man-to-man. Well, hey, if you listen to Jerry, it sound like we about to play. We about to play some man-to-man. Hey, Michael H., the Bears are putting it together. They are. They're putting it together. Yeah, Ben Johnson is the real deal. There's no doubt about it. Ben Johnson is the real deal. He's the real deal. Go Dodgers said there was absolutely no doubt that Jaden Daniels is having a bad sophomore year. No doubt. But I tell you this, Cowboys better put a spy on him because he almost ran the Bears out of that game. King Kong community, come on, man. Don't say he trash. I think he's doing good. I don't have no problem with Shotty. I really don't. I think he's doing good. I think he's got one hand tied behind his back with Matt Eberflus. But it sounds like that they've sat down and talked to him, so we're gonna see what's happening. We gotta see it now. Boy, yeah, tell it like it is. If we had one of their defenses, we'd be 5-1. Boy, yeah. I agree with you. Meet you. He said, I don't think they're going to beat the Vikings. Whoa, boy, I hope they don't. I hope they don't. It'll be a great day for me. Shoo. Quack, quack, what up? He said, hey, Vikings have a good defense. Boy, I hope they do beat the Eagles. Shoo. Man, I hope they beat the Eagles. Shoo, tell it like it is. Second worst, allowed 40 less points, we would be undefeated, man, for sure. Nope, Quinn never fixed the defensive run game. But Michael H., you know what Dan Quinn did a good job of? If the Cowboys could get him a lead, shoot, he pitting them ears back. He's sending them pass rushers. He's sending them pass rushers. 70s fans show. He said, come on, the NFC East is wide open. Oh, I agree. But I also think the Cowboys can take it because Cowboys have the best offense out of all of them. Unfortunately, they have the worst defense. But, man, if the Cowboys can just get that defense to 25, I still think they take the NFC East. I still think they take the NFC East if they get that defense to 25. That's going to be a monumental task. And I'm telling you, you know what? I do think the Cowboys are going to do something, but I'm not going to get my hopes built up on the trade because it sounds like right now, Jerry is trying to bait somebody into coming and offering them the farm for those draft picks. It don't sound like at this point that they're actively trying to seek people to trade with. So I'm not going to get my hopes up on that trade. I'm not going to do it. Brandon Cupp said every team in the league is helping us. Know who's not helping us? Say it! Brandon Cupp, I hate to admit it, but you're telling the truth. Every team in the league is helping us. Guess who's not helping us? Us. We're on pace for the 4th pick in the draft, and we aren't fast enough to play, man. As long as we got Dak Prescott, I think we in this thing. Shoot, David Jennings, 27 points a game. That ain't trash. Not for no offense, but we putting up major points. But as far as our defense goes, the kind of points they're giving up, yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah. The real Daryl, they need a win, and I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to get it. I think they get the win against the Commanders, but we're going to talk about it this week. We're going to start breaking this game down on Thursday. Brandon Cupp said we would get toasted if we play man. I think you got to pick and choose when you play it. He said we don't have the speed or the talent to play man, especially when we don't understand deeper than deepest. Well, I'll tell you this, Brandon Cupp. You're getting burned playing zone. If I'm the Cowboys, I go man and I'm sending 6. I'm going man, I'm sending 5. There is no way I'm only sending 4. Lisa Worley, Dan Quinn got turnovers. Lisa Worley, you want to know who was on his coaching staff? Al Peanut Harris. Al Harris was on his defense. Al Harris. And now we're watching the Chicago Bears do some of the same things with Al Harris and what he did to to us and what they did to the doggone Commanders. Ivor Biggin, he said Cowboys on pace to win 6 games this year. They haven't even hit the hard part of the schedule. Oh yeah, they're gonna win more than 6. Yeah, they're gonna win more than 6. I guarantee they're gonna win more than 6. Because they're gonna win 1 next week. I think they'll beat the Arizona Cardinals at home. And we'll see what happens with the Denver Broncos. Though they're going to win 6 games. I'm not worried about that part. Cowboys execution. He said Jerry knows the phone is not about to ring. That's an excuse to keep those picks. I don't think anybody's going to call him. I really don't. Who's going to call you for him? Most people are probably going to sit back and see what the Green Bay Packers are by that time. I don't think anybody's going to call him. I don't. The Eagles' offense ain't better than the Cowboys. Ain't no chance. Oscar, he said, I think the Cowboys will win the Super Bowl. I think next year, not this year. They got a lot of personnel issues this year. You really got to get that defense up to par. You need a championship defense to win championships. We got the championship offense. We need the championship defense. Super Bowls are won in the trenches. We really got to get that defense together. Yeah, LaQueen, they finally waived Cropper. LaQueen, I tell you what, Cropper's a good player. Cropper's a good player. I think he could go somewhere and do some good. I mean, I'm not saying he's a top 10 wide receiver, but I think he could do some good. Yeah, Brandon Cup, we got some effort issues. Tell it like it is. Ain't nobody desperate for them picks. Not yet. Because nobody knows what they're going to be. And tell it like it is. I guarantee you the Cowboys ain't giving up their pick. They would probably try to give up the Green Bay pick. King Kong Community, he said, we got nothing. Jerry has to put his name on this season for picks. Man. Quack, quack. He said, I don't listen to the Joneses. I watch what they do. Yes, sir. Brandon Cup, let me tell you the reality. I already posted this on X. I'm telling us Cowboys reality. The Cowboys reality is simple. If you look at the Cowboys wins and losses so far, this is the only thing this is what I know. If the Cowboys don't score 30 plus points, they're not winning the game. The Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys have yet to win a game where they didn't score 30 points. Let me make sure. Cowboys played the Bears. Eagles, they scored 20, they lost. Giants, they scored 40, they won. Bears, they scored 14, they lost. Packers, they scored 40, they tied. Jets, they scored 37, they won. They scored 27 against the Panthers and they lost. So right now the trend is simple. Cowboys got to score 30 points to win. So I'm expecting every bit of 37-38 against the Washington Commanders. 27 ain't gonna get it. We're gonna need 37 or more. No doubt about it. 37 or more. Pure Game Scope, he said, I don't know if Kyler is playing though, because I saw the backup in last week for the Cardinals. Wow. Okay, we'll see. Pure Gamer said this team hasn't shown they can win more than 6 games. Yeah, they'll win more than 6 games. There's no doubt about it. They'll win more than 6. I'm very interested to see what that defense looks like. Very interested with what it looks like. But hey, guys, that's going to be the show for today. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Hey, man, don't lose faith. Dallas Cowboys are not done. It's going to be a long season, and it's going to be a long season. We're going to see a bunch of exciting, high-scoring games, I believe, because we're going to score points, and our defense is going to give up points. But let's just hope that when DeMarion Overshown gets back, maybe the Cowboys will do something at the trade deadline. Matt Eberflus will make some serious adjustments, and the Cowboys may actually get about 10 wins. I'm not giving up on double-digit wins, but one game at a time. Can we take care of business against the Washington Commanders? Y'all tell me what you think. Y'all leave it in the comments after the show is over. I'll see y'all tomorrow. More videos tomorrow. More videos, and we'll do a short stream tomorrow. And then we will be on to evaluating the Commanders and the Cowboys game. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited. The Cowboys back at home in position to get second place in the NFC East. And they have a great opportunity to prove a lot of people wrong. Man, I am ready. And I'm still going to enjoy this season. All right, guys. Y'all keep loving the Cowboys. I think we're on to something. Y'all tell me what you think. TC4L, God bless. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys where we talk facts. Peace.